Good evening, and welcome to the Summer Game Awards Fest 3 2025. I'm your host, Keigh Geoffley, and we have an exciting show planned full of game reveals, developer showcases, and sucking up to soulless CEOs. Everything is incredible in the video games industry. It's a golden age with absolutely nothing to worry about. So sit back, don't think about anything that could possibly contradict what I just said, and enjoy the games. Hey, Justin.
Hi, Julian. How are you doing?
Not bad. Key's up there doing his thing.
That's fun. That's good.
Yeah.
He forgot. Is this like a thing that we pay for, or does he pay for it?
No, he pays us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's gonna
It's
say.
a pretty sweet gig.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Does he have sponsors?
Yeah, but I don't know how they really do that as far as their broadcast.
Can I interest him in perhaps being sponsored by Chef Man products?
I'll have him talk to you.
Okay.
We can see what, I mean, everything's already been done for this year, but
That's fair. Next year, consider bringing Chef Man into your home. And by buying one of many mediocre kitchen products in various colors.
I'd like to know more.
Yeah, who wouldn't? Who wouldn't want a Chef Man? Right?
Yes.
You put a Chef Man in your kitchen, people are like, that's a nice Chef Man. I'm going to tell you right now. Says Chef Man right on the front of it. For the price of one Chef Man, or for the price of 3 Chef Men, it's still Chef Man's. Yeah. Whatever it is. I don't know what it is, plural. You can buy like one Ninja thing. And so if you tape them all together, it's like just as good as a Ninja thing. But probably, and then if one breaks, you have a backup Chef Man. It's a really good system.
Are you on Chef Man's payroll, Justin? Are you in the pocket of Big Chef Man?
Listen, Julian, Chef Man he's a chef, so he has a job, okay? And he's a man. That's all I really need to know, okay? That's all I really need to know.
Make a compelling argument.
Yeah. He's got, indoor grills. He's got an espresso machine. He's got a food obliterator. I don't know if there's a difference between obliterator and blender, or if they're just trying to some different branding with that. Either way, I respect Chef Man for the risk they're taking there.
Food obliterator sounds like it's marketed towards the type of person who needs tactical wipes.
Right. Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm in. I'm not one of those people, but I'm still in.
Right.
Who wouldn't be?
Yeah.
No, I've fallen in love with just mediocre mid-range generic Amazon brands. Like, it's one of my favorite things when you're like, let me look up this specific thing that I'm looking for, and then it's just like, here's a Chef Man. You're like, what the fuck is that? Do they have more things of Chef Man? I need to know. And then you look up and you're like, wow, Chef Man sure is cranking out some shit, aren't they? They're doing it.
Oh, I thought this was a Justin Ham original.
I wish. Chef Man is real. Chef Man is real, and I was seriously this close. My friend does not realize how far I will go for a bit, Julian. I was this close to buying one.
Oh, they're gonna learn.
Oh yeah, no, they did. They learned today, because I was like, look, I clicked this button and this is getting sent to your house. I swear to God, I will do it. And they're like, okay, I really don't want this. And I was like, okay, well, maybe next time you'll consider Chef Man. We'll shop around first, but consider Chef Man in your future purchasing of, what was I gonna even buy? It was like a pizza. It was like some sort of weird countertop pizza cooker or something like that. I'm like, what am I ever gonna use this for? I'll buy it though.
For cooking a pizza once.
Yeah, for cooking a pizza once. And I'll be like, we use the Chef Man. There's more uses for it. You can cook quesadillas. You can cook, I don't know, other stuff.
Basically a tortilla pizza. But
yeah, pretty much. I mean, yeah. But yeah, I was this close. They didn't think I was going to do it. And I was like, I clicked it, and then I got talked down.
Justin with bits is like that cat that's perched and about to like knock like a priceless piece of china, like off
This
the
was
counter.
all
Like,
day.
don't do it.
This was
Don't
all,
do it.
This was all day with me and Chef Man. By the way, it was just like every single thing that came up, I was just like, they were like, I need to go get my oil changed. I was like, well, if you go to the oil change store, do you think they would be interested in selling some Chef Man products? You know, get an oil change, buy a Chef Man. You know, it goes together like cotton candy and something else that goes with it. Don't worry about it. I don't know where I was going with that. It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, everything's Chef Man. I'm all about Chef Man. I'm all in. If Chef Man wants to sponsor
if there wasn't already a predetermined title for this show because of what we're covering,
yeah,
I would have had my title already.
That's fine. Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. And you're absolutely right. Yeah, I am like that with a bit. Like, oh, don't push me. Like,
yes,
I will do it. I'll send Julian a fucking Chef Man right now. I don't know his address. He's lucky. All right.
And I'm sure I've mentioned it before, but listeners should know, like, they're not aware of the twinkle in Justin's eye that occurs like when a bit comes to mind, or when he's really rolling on a bit. Oh yeah, it's fun. Yeah, I think that the second time that Weston was on, when I told him, oh, don't worry, like, we're not going to do any of our shenanigans, and we pulled all the shenanigans. The sheer look of mirth on your face that whole night was fun. Was priceless. It was good. I had a good time. Yeah. We're going to have a good time tonight because 'tis the season for not E3. That it is. The night that we're recording this, it was opening night live at Summer Games Fest. Yep. But there was also a bunch of stuff leading up to that. Now, obviously, we're recording this before the Xbox presentation. Yeah. I think there's a big PC presentation. Probably talk about that next time, right? Next time, yeah. But I was like, we'll do this as like the big like special episode. Yeah. This sounds good. Because it just lined up to where, okay, we've actually got like a good chunk of stuff to talk about here. And, for sure. And everything. So we're just going to be covering this stuff tonight. We're not going to be talking about like what we got up to. Yeah. We'll catch up on that next week, depending on how much stuff ends up getting shown between now and then. Right. They're supposed to show like some IO Interactive James Bond gameplay. Yeah. There's a big Death Stranding 2 thing, but I'm avoiding that because like it's just a couple weeks away. Yeah. Like, I'm good. Like, I don't need to see anymore. It's very close. Yeah. Yeah. But there is, like I said, supposed to be a PC presentation. There's a Microsoft thing. There might be like some indie stuff, and who knows what else. Like, that's, and I've talked about it last year. I'll probably repeat myself here. I apologize. I don't mean to, but I wish that we could consolidate it just a little bit. Yeah, everybody wants their own spotlight though for this stuff. So they do. Yeah. But like there's something about revealing the shit in front of an audience, and I miss the old style press conferences. Like, we're going to talk about the Sony State of Play, but like, it's missing that energy. Yeah, no, right? I agree. The Summer's Games Fest thing has that going for it, at least a little bit. It does, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, especially at like the hype was real when they revealed like the last game of the show, which we'll talk about. No, that was absolutely real. Yeah. So the first thing that happened this week, and it's kind of funny that because I mean this was last year too, but I didn't know they do like a whole like thing now where like it's like a multi-day thing with Unreal. Yeah, I didn't know this either. I didn't watch almost any of it really. I seen like the one thing because it was random because I didn't know it was happening, and it just popped up on Reddit as I was scrolling through, and I was like, oh wow, that looks really good. Okay, all right, cool. I'll let you continue. Didn't know anything about it. I did watch the whole like 2-hour presentation, but apparently like they had a whole thing in Florida that was going on for multiple days, and I'm like, that's a weird time to schedule that. Just like it was weird for Nintendo to launch the Switch 2 literally the day before like Summer Games Fest, like when all of the media is like traveling and all of that stuff. That is a weird time to do that. Yeah, it almost feels spiteful on their part. Yeah,
But at the same time, it's like you're doing that, and then but you're also giving all these companies be like, so if your thing's not, you know, hitting the mark, I guess it gives all these other companies to go, don't worry, we have all this cool shit coming. And it's like, all right, well, that is some cool shit. I don't know. It's just weird to me. I don't know. I'm not sure I would have done that if I was them.
Especially knowing that they didn't. Nobody had like review units or anything like that. Like, there's
sounds like
reviews
Nintendo.
of Switch 2 shit.
Sounds like Nintendo.
Well, not really. Not for a console. Like, this is apparently the first time this has happened in like 20 years.
Really interesting.
Yeah,
I'm just going off of what they've been doing with like a lot of their games, where it's just like, nobody really got anything early unless you're like on their like not shit list, I guess. You know? Which
Giant Bomb was talking about that this week because they apparently are on the shit list.
They've been on it. Yeah. There's and it doesn't take much to get on there. That's the craziest part. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like it really doesn't take much to get on there. So yeah, they don't.
I think they either accidentally let slip something that was embargoed, or it was a quick look that like showed more than Nintendo wanted them to show.
Something like that. Yeah. They're nuts. I don't know.
But yeah, so the Unreal stuff, and I like to watch these presentations because, you know, obviously, even though I don't know much or really anything about game development, I am interested in game development, and I like to glean like what I can from these presentations. But the big thing is that they opened with CD Projekt Red showing, and I had to go back and clarify after the fact, because it is a graphical Unreal tech demo set in The Witcher 4 world.
Yes, not actual gameplay.
Not actual gameplay.
Yeah.
But what they were showing was running on a base PS5, which I think was...
Yes, I thought that was cool too.
Yeah, and because one, I was like, we're not going to see anything about this game for years. Because I just assumed this is going to be like a next-gen thing. Maybe a cross-gen, but it's going to be like Cyberpunk was this generation, where you really shouldn't buy the PS5 version.
No.
You know, that type of thing.
Right.
But... And, you know, CD Projekt, I think, has rightly gotten some flack for, you know, the console versions of their games, you know, but it's because they've always focused on PC first. Yeah. So it kind of makes sense. So I thought it was very interesting that was the claim. And, you know, I'm the type of person who will take people at face value until you give me a reason to not believe you. You know, a lot of people were pretty, felt that, like, you know, they didn't really believe that this was the thing. But I was like, you would not make that bold of a claim unless you had the shit to back it up. Right. Because like, why bother? Like, you're just setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
If you're bullshitting this footage.
If they did that, that's on them at that point, right? You know what I mean? If they're just out there fucking, we'll just lie like this, it'll be fine. No, everybody will be way into it. Yeah, that seems like a dumb thing to lie about. I mean, people have done dumber shit. Don't get me wrong.
People have done dumber shit for sure. But you know, but I think people are savvier now as far as like the audience goes, and also like CD Projekt, you know, they clawed back a lot of their reputation over the last few years, but they were in the shithole for a while after Cyberpunk.
You can't get away with that type of stuff the way you used to kind of be able to, because some like there's a lot of
this is not, what was it, Killzone 2?
Yeah, it was Killzone 2 for the PlayStation 3 or whatever. That was that one was infamous. There's like the BioShock Infinite one is pretty crazy to go back and watch, like their E3 like demo thing or something like that. I can't remember what it was.
Like the very first reveal.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's so, like, you're like, that was not what that game was at all. Like, it's wild. It I don't know if it was them lying or if that was like their early version of that thing that they were thinking it was going to be. I think
it was an early version, and so much can change during development. Right. It's like, oh, this is just not working, and we have to take this out.
It might have been just like too ambitious or something, but like still, they never really went back and said, okay, hold on, sorry about that.
Right.
But yeah, you can't really get away with that type of stuff nowadays. Nowadays, you gotta kind of be confident in where you're going with certain things before you start to show them. That's why a lot of like when the game gets announced, it'll be like, here's basically a moving screenshot of the game. Like, it's that way nobody's going to come after us. You know, we haven't really shown actually anything. So
yeah. Having said that, though, like, this was a super impressive thing, and I think it's finally starting to cash in on the promise that Unreal Engine 5 like seemed to be saying at the outset, which is like, hey, these tools and this engine are going to make it faster and more efficient for you to make video games, and also you can do way more impressive stuff with way less computing power to give you room to do other crazy stuff.
Right.
And I was thinking of you, Justin, because I was like, yo, that cloak is...
Those capes look good. Those physics
that cape looks really good, and that those swords are not clipping through that cape.
No, that's impressive. That's really good. Oh yeah, absolutely. We're getting that's big things actually in video games.
No, that's huge. Absolutely. And they next showed off like the horse, which Kelpie. Yeah, that's going to be a series horse, and they showed off chaos flesh, which is just the funniest term. But it's one of the many like ways that Unreal is able to simulate things, and so this simulates like the musculature of the horse, and this is how you could tell that it was a tech demo where like they're controlling it in real time, but then they could like stop and like do cut-ins and stuff like that, and like take Siri out of it and zoom in on the horse and stuff like that. And then the other massive thing, and I guess this was a thing that Unreal Engine 5 was not really equipped for initially, which is nanite foliage.
Okay.
So nanite, that's their system of being able to like just like flood the screen with polygons.
Sure. Yeah.
Without bogging everything down.
Yeah.
But apparently it hadn't been really well implemented for trees and stuff like that. Where now, like they showed how they basically crafted like 28 pieces of a tree, and then were able to use that to generate all these different types of trees, and they all looked completely different, but they're all built from the same building blocks. And I was like, oh, Speed Tree's fucked.
Yeah, right.
But then the other half of that is that when you're zoomed out, the foliage breaks down into these very small voxels, which saves even more on computing power.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they were able to like really like fly over this really lush, gorgeous valley full of trees.
Yeah.
And it's nice and smooth and everything looks incredible. But apparently, what I understood was that it's not actually hitting the PS5 or, your PC as hard as
it used to. Yeah. I mean, I know that from Skyrim shit. Trust me. You start adding like even like simple things, it'll start to bog it down. Like they really like those games are built like they are for a reason. Sometimes it's like, it's a little empty here. It's like, yeah, but if you add some shit, it just will crush the frame rate for no reason, seemingly sometimes.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And then they bring Siri into one of the towns. I missed this the first time that I watched it, but then I watched like the 4K version after the presentation. And this is, we've talked about this a lot on the show, but like, because there are certain benefits to what the modern version of AI can do for things, right?
Sure,
like when you're using it as a tool and you know what you're doing and blah, blah, blah. And some of the way that NPCs can behave and interact with each other is all done like it's not scripted. It's just kind of on the fly based on the physics and stuff like that. So there's a part where, and Nextlander talked about this, but I was thinking of the same thing. It really like brought back Assassin's Creed 1 E3 reveal vibes.
Okay, yeah.
In a good way.
Right.
But there's a part where there's a guy like carrying this crate of fruit, and Siri bumps into him, and he drops his crate, and the fruit goes tumbling.
Right.
And these kids like run up and start grabbing the fruit.
Nice.
And that is not a scripted thing. That's just a thing that can happen.
Right.
And then later on, they showed a part where like this NPC is actually like haggling with a fishmonger, and you see the fishmonger actually like showing them a fish and then like wrapping it up and putting it in their basket and stuff like that.
Right.
And it's one of those things where I'm sure that if you sit there and watch that for like 10 minutes straight, it breaks as far as like the immersion of it. But as far as like just in the moment, it's really effective because I'm one of those people who I don't like to sit around and really inspect NPCs because I don't want the illusion to break.
Sure.
I want to believe, right?
Yeah.
So as I'm just like walking through and stuff, I'm gonna be like, wow, that's really amazing.
Yeah.
And then they showed a part where like just how seamlessly they could go from it's behind the back of Siri. She's walking up. You're controlling her, and then it just seamlessly goes into a cutscene where then she leans on a rail and it zooms out and it turns into a conversation.
Right.
And just super clean, very cool. Obviously, we're talking about a tech demo. This doesn't have like UI. This doesn't have like combat in it. All of this stuff is subject to change.
Right.
But even so, just seeing what they can do and the way they were explaining it sounded like, oh yeah, like this stuff used to take us like forever, and now like this is like super streamlined and stuff like that, and it's very exciting. And so and then in the actual like presentation itself, it was more of it's kind of what you expect, right? Like they were talking about like a lot of the updated features for the next version that's about to come out.
Yeah.
But the metahuman stuff, which is kind of like the separate, I thought it was part of Unreal already, but apparently it was a separate application that is now wrapped into Unreal Engine 5, or it will be like once this version goes live.
Gotcha.
But they were showing like more of the improvements that they can do there. And again, I thought of you because of like create character stuff, because like they were showing like the way that they can change body types.
Okay.
Just like with sliders and stuff like that, which we've seen that before.
Oh, yeah.
But it would also change the clothing that they were wearing on the fly as well.
That's impressive. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
And then I think the last like real interesting thing that I remember is that they had a guy showing off, and it was kind of a cringy presentation, but it was a guy basically showing off like the next generation of like mocap animation. But
I think I briefly seen something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because he didn't have a suit. He didn't have any tracking balls on.
Yeah.
And he was just using a commercial grade or like a consumer grade webcam.
Right.
And I was like, shit, VTube is about to get crazy.
Oh yeah. That'd be interesting.
But also that's a thing where now that opens up a type of game design to a much smaller developer than you ever had before, right? Because usually that type of stuff was reserved for like the Kojimas of the world who've got like massive budgets and are, like doing these like big mocap recording sessions and stuff like that. Now it's like, you could probably do this in your garage now, which is kind of insane. But really cool.
That'll be interesting. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And that's about it for the Unreal stuff. I really like checking that stuff out.
Oh yeah, it's cool that it's not just for developers, that they actually show that stuff to know, everybody if they want to watch it,
Yeah, and I it's taken Unreal Engine 5 some time to get up to speed, but it seems like it's getting there now, and it really does feel like, because as I was watching the Witcher thing, I was like thinking about what I've been thinking about a lot lately. I was thinking about what I've been thinking about. Really good, Julian.
You've been doing it. You've been thinking about Chef Man.
I've had this thing going around in my head, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned it on the show. We were talking about like next gen, where really what needs to happen and what I would almost like to see for next gen is that instead of like trying to really push the next level of graphic fidelity and stuff like that, just make the pipeline smoother. And we need to get to the point where games can be developed in a more efficient manner again. Like there's something weird's going on in the industry, and I don't know if it's mismanagement or if it's difficulty with the tools or what have you, but this is kind of, I'll just talk about it because it kind of bears in.
Sure.
They announced that Black Panther game from EA got canceled.
Seen that, this
week. And a lot of people were like, "Oh, this is terrible," blah blah blah. And then I heard about what the team was trying to do, because it was ex Monolith Soft people that were working on this game.
Okay, yeah.
They started the studio to make this game,
right?
And like they were trying to make another version of the Nemesis system. Like, oh, they were going to get fucking sued.
Yeah.
Like I think WB has been waiting for someone to try to test them on that.
Right.
just to like get some easy money.
Right.
But apparently the game had been like in pre-production for 4 years and they didn't really have much to show for it. And it's like, I understand why they canceled that.
Yeah.
That's like, that game should be wrapping up, by that point. Like, that game should have like another year or 18 months left.
I'm not exactly sure on the pipeline on that. I know it's like from what I always understood, it was like roughly 7 years in like a AAA sense to do something like that, if I remember correctly. And it's like
5 to 7. It
5 to 7 depends on what kind of game it is or whatever. And like a lot of it is pre-production, and the development part goes faster than what you think it does, I think. But like that's usually like the last like 2 years is like the actual development. But like pre-production probably should take less time than that. But I don't know what is actually involved in pre-production. Like what like
right.
That because like in my mind that's like, oh, you're getting all the artwork and concepts and story or whatever together, and then you're gonna actually go in and do it or whatever. But like that could also be like, no, we're getting all our assets and shit done, and then we're gonna actually go and put it all together. I don't really know.
The way the pre-production the way I've always understood it is it's more of like, okay, we're developing like the basic loop, right? Like we're trying to figure out,
right? Yes.
How does this play? What is cool about this, like that type of stuff.
The planning,
right. So we're not even getting into like asset generation or world generation. Like we might have like a really basic gray box version of the world just to play around in.
Right.
But like nothing is being painted yet. Right. So that just seems like kind of a lot. And then I think about like Clair Obscur, right, where people are like really lauding that game and it's killing AAA, blah blah blah. It's like the game was in development for 6 years.
Yeah.
So like that's on par with like what AAA's been doing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And I'd really like to know like what they were paying their staff, because it's like that to me sounds like AAA budget, but but we don't know what the budget was.
Hard to say. Yeah.
And it was made in Unreal Engine 5 as well. So I'm thinking that, again, it's one of those things where it's allowing people to kind of punch above their weight class in a really good way. That's what I'm excited about.
Yeah, exactly. That if anything, that's a prime example of something like that, Like,
yeah, absolutely. Justin, this is really awkward. I booked a really huge interview.
Oh, why?
I mean, well, I'm always on that grind, I'm hustling behind the scenes.
Okay, sure.
But I gotta go take care of something. Do you mind actually taking care of the interview for me? I've got I've got notes here. It's fine.
All right, sure. Yeah, I'll do it. I don't. Okay. This seems. I'm not a good interviewer like you are, Julian.
It's fine. I totally believe in you. I just got to go take care of something.
Okay.
It's kind of an emergency.
Okay.
I'll send him in on my way out.
Okay, great. All right. Well, I guess I'm here. I'm going to do an interview. I don't know how to do these. This is usually Julian's thing. Hold on. I'm going to look. I gotta look who I'm interviewing. Apparently, I'm speaking to Phil Spencer. He's the CEO of Xbox. Is that how that's pronounced? Is that
Xbox, actually? But yes, that's correct.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you for having me. I'm a big fan of your show.
I don't believe you at all. But
I mean, you're not wrong.
Okay. Well, that's correct to me. Well, I guess let's get into this. Phil, I'm going to read straight from here right now. Phil, Xbox has been having a pretty great year. You got that Avowed. That was a game. Indiana Jones. That was also a game. You got the surprise hit of the year on the Game Pass with the Expedition 33. That was a good one too. You must be proud. Things are going good. Things are looking up.
Well, it's true that many of the bets we've made over the past few years are beginning to pay off, but it doesn't change the fact that we're a distant third in the market with no chance of catching up.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, it's a bit negative, but that's sure. Okay. Okay. Yeah. We should probably focus on good things. Try to build the Xbox brand,
That's true, but you're right to take me to task. I've been a very bad CEO.
Oh, Okay, that's. I mean, you seem fine to me. You know.
No, I'm a worthless piece of shit. I can see the disdain in your eyes.
I don't know if the glasses are, reflecting light wrong or something, but I don't really have any of that going on there, my friend.
No, I deserve it. I'm a bad, naughty CEO, and I deserve to be punished.
Oh, okay. This is weird. I don't know if I like it very much. I don't. Okay.
Spank me, media daddy. It'll hurt so good.
Okay, I'm gonna go. This was a disaster. I'm sorry. Okay. We're gonna go. I've been Justin Ham, I guess. I'm not gonna do this anymore. I think I quit podcasting today.
Meanwhile, elsewhere backstage. Oh God. Just nervous shit. Oh no. I hope Justin will be fine. He'll be fine. It's fine. What? Ah, I see. Oh shit. This is indeed the mist door that the weird cloaked figure told me about. I will surely find the god of all creation in here and slay him as my mission dictates. Oh well, there goes another one. Probably not coming back. Rest in peace, my dude. Oh man, okay. Sorry about that, Justin.
You left me with Phil Spencer.
I know it was a lot to put on your plate. I had to take the biggest shit. I'm so sorry.
It's a hell of a time to do it, but that's fine.
I think it was a nervous shit. I was so nervous about meeting Phil Spencer.
You do get nervous sometimes, I
do get nervous with big guests. Yeah. I'm sure you nailed it. I'm surprised he's already gone, though.
Well, the black box on this one is going to be on your hands, let me tell you.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure Phil had some interesting things to say.
He did.
I'll look forward to it in the edit.
I don't know if you should look forward to that, Julian, but
I'm sure it was great. I told everybody in the Discord I was so excited about booking like a massive guest.
Oh, so, well, okay, well,
I'm sure it was a big payoff for them.
Probably don't do that anymore.
Well, okay. Now I'm a little worried. Now I might be getting a call from Xbox later.
Yeah, we might.
Like it was pretty hard to actually get through the vetting process.
Yeah, I bet it was. There might be a reason that they might want to vet harder. I don't know. Something. I don't got anything. Let's just move on. Let's move on.
Yes. To the Sony State of Play, which I was pleasantly surprised because I knew it. So we talked about this last week, but it was like Summer Games Fest, a bit like not E3 time, kind of snuck up on both of us.
Yeah, it did.
I've been so like kind of stressed out over like the new job and everything, and I don't know. It was just a thing that it felt like it was still a ways off, and then all of a sudden it was here, and I was like, "Fuck!" Like we gotta like plan for like stuff to do for this episode, and I had to get on the horn and get guests like Phil Spencer and shit. So,
right? Yeah, you sure did get them.
And the Sony thing, I want to say that like they announced it like almost like a day before. They did like a Nintendo thing.
Yeah, it was a few days before, I think.
Was it a few days?
Yeah.
Okay, I feel like I didn't hear about it until like the day before.
Yeah. I can't remember exactly when I had heard about it, but I think it was a couple days, but yeah, might have been like Monday or something like that. So it was not in a lot of notice, but yeah.
Yeah. It was a thing where I was like, oh man, I hate that this is starting at 4. Both of these things started at 4.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, like I gotta wait, blah, blah, blah. But then like it was actually kind of slow at work. And so I was like, fuck it, I'll just put it on in the background. And so I got into it a few minutes late. So I had to go back and watch like the first few things. And so I gotta say, just like off the bat, because I watched this twice.
Okay.
Because my initial thought was, holy shit, that was like nothing but bangers. I can't believe like what a good presentation that was.
Yeah.
And then I did my thing where I go online and everybody's bitching and moaning.
That's every time. Yeah, I don't even do that.
Just up front, I don't understand the person who is watching a Sony State of Play, who I assume has a PlayStation 5, because otherwise, why do you care that much?
Yeah.
And then comes away being like, man, like Sony's got nothing. And it's like, there was wall-to-wall something.
Yeah.
Like, just because like stuff is also possibly going to be on other systems, I'm assuming that you're going to play them on your PlayStation 5, because that's probably what you have.
Supposedly. Yeah.
I don't get the mentality. I understand, obviously like exclusives are a thing, but they're not as big a thing as they used to be.
Right.
But even like, if I'm thinking about like video game history and my time with video games, it's rare that it's the first party exclusive shit that is the stuff that historically has been my favorite shit.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
It is almost always the third party stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm kind of right there with you. It's
like when I think about like PS1, PS2, it's like mostly Capcom, Square, Konami games.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, those were the big ones for like especially in that era. God, yeah. The Sony stuff that would come up that was like exclusive was like, okay, yeah, I guess.
Yeah. And even the stuff that was exclusive was still like not made by Sony, right? Like Metal Gear Solid, Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, they had their exclusives, but it was all third party, and like, but now it goes to the other consoles. I guess
now it goes to other places, and that's just the reality of like how expensive games are to make these days. Is you gotta have more avenues to recoup your money, and it's, to me, it's fine. It's like
even their competitor is putting shit on their system now, so
so if you were an Xbox owner and that's all you own, I think you have a right to be a little bit pissed, because you could have bought a PlayStation and still played all the cool Xbox shit,
right,
and all the cool PlayStation stuff that you can't get.
Right.
The only thing that you have like in your favor there is Game Pass continues to be a really awesome value proposition.
For sure. Absolutely.
But yeah, so we'll jump into it. Like the first thing, definitely not up my alley, but I know a lot of people are excited for it, that Lumines is back.
Oh, yes. It looks neat. I never really played any of those, so
I'm surprised. That seems like that would be a thing that you would be like really into.
It was on PSP, right? The old ones. Yeah, I just never bought it, I guess, because that wasn't the type of stuff I was getting on PSP. But it always sounded neat, and it kind of, you can tell they learned a lot from like. I was like, okay, this is either, I couldn't remember the name Luminous when I was like, I know it's that one puzzle game that was on PSP. I cannot remember the title, but it's either that or this is like some Tetris Effect, because immediately the song they're playing, I'm like, this reminds me of Tetris Effect music.
It's borrowing hard from what Tetris Effect did.
I'm like, they worked on that, didn't they? They were the ones that kind of messed with that. I thought they were.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Yeah. So
they're they're allowed. They're allowed to borrow. So yeah, it looks neat. Whether I'll play it or not, who knows?
Yeah.
And
then the next thing I was really psyched to see, because I wasn't sure what was going to happen with it. Pragmata from Capcom, which was like the first thing that they ever showed at the PS5 like kickoff state of play.
Yeah.
And I was like, that looks interesting. I wonder what that is. And then it was like, what about like 2 or 3 years? And there was another trailer where they was like, we're sorry to say that it's been delayed. And we were all like, we didn't know that there was a release date. So you didn't have to tell us that. But this time we actually got to see some gameplay and a little bit of story stuff, all in engine.
Right.
And what can I say, man? Like, I fucking love Capcom. They're firing on all cylinders right now. That RE engine is like really paying off for them. It's I think this game looks really cool. I don't like kids.
Yeah.
I don't like kids. Period.
Yeah.
But I like the idea of having this little android girl like on your back, like Yoda in Empire Strikes Back.
Right.
I don't know. I'm kind of into
Yeah.
it.
It could be neat. It seemed pretty cool. I like how they kind of joked about it is real because it's been so long since you've seen it or whatever.
Yeah.
And
that's coming out next year.
Yeah.
I think the mech designs and like the tech like are all like really cool.
Yeah.
Like that was one of the things that I really loved about Exo Primal, but I just didn't like what the gameplay loop of Exo Primal was. So here it's nice to see like a little bit of that flavor here with like a third person shooter with some platforming stuff, and it seems like the android girl can do like some hacking of enemies, and I love hacking a robot. Like if I can hack a robot to fight for me, like I'm all in.
Yeah.
So hopefully there's some cool like power shit that she can do.
Yeah, could be good.
But I've been looking forward to that, but I was really glad.
Well, yeah, I wanted to see what the hell the game was, because really they only had like a trailer before that. So yeah, it's nice to actually see what it is as a game, you know.
Yeah. Did it do anything for you?
It looks okay. I'd try it.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it. Put it like that. Yeah. It looks interesting. I'm willing to give most Capcom things a shot for sure.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like that they're doing new stuff.
Yeah, I do too. I think that alone is a reason I would give it a shot, just because it's a new thing, and it's not like a multiplayer thing. You know, like if it was like a multiplayer thing, I'd be like, oh, okay, I don't give a shit. But which was my Exo Primal thing. I was like, I'm not trying to try that. Thanks, but no thanks.
And I did try, and I was like, this is fine. I just wish that this was an actual like single player thing.
Yeah.
And so this is when I actually tuned in originally, and it was funny because I was watching this trailer, and I didn't know if they had said who the developer was, like before the trailer started or anything. But I'm watching this trailer, and I'm like, this looks Suda 51 as fuck.
Yeah.
And then sure enough, it's a Suda 51 joint.
I kept saying the same thing the entire time. I was like, I couldn't remember his name, but I was like, this reminds me of that guy. And I'm trying to, like, he made this game, he made the one thing. I'm like, who is the guy I'm trying to think of? And then it comes on, I'm like, that's the guy. Yeah, him. Okay. Yeah. Yes, this is very much his shit.
Yeah. It's called Romeo's a Dead Man. It's got a lot in that trailer. It's doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
It's one of those weird things. And there was something else, and I don't remember if it was in like one of these two showcases or if it was something that I saw recently. Yeah, where it feels like the actual game itself needs to have like a little bit more pizzazz to the aesthetics. Sure, right? Like, yeah, because it starts off with like this really weird, like kind of pseudo rotoscoped animation that looks like shit on purpose.
That was really weird. Yeah,
yeah. And it's got some humor to it, like basically like they're having dinner, and then the main character Romeo goes out to see what's happening outside. Yeah, and he gets like his arm bit off by a zombie or something. And his dad is like, "Oh, you're gonna die in 15 seconds, but don't worry, I've got this thing to bring you back." And he like jams it in his eye. Yeah, and then it turns him into, and then it goes into the gameplay, which is some pretty hot looking gameplay. Yeah, it's like
looked all right,
melee, like real stylish melee action with some gunplay. I got surprisingly some Dead Rising vibes.
That's okay. Thank you. I was gonna say the same thing. I was like, it reminded me of Dead Rising for some reason, and I don't know why, but like, yeah.
There was something about the over the top violence, but also like there is some obvious like some zaniness to it because it's Grasshopper and Suda 51. And then the monster designs were kind of out there, but I don't know. I almost feel like it should be like cell shaded or I don't know, something, because it's going for like a pretty hyper realistic look.
Yeah, which is strange. Yeah,
it almost seems like in disservice to the themes.
Yeah, especially with like the weird animation they show in the beginning. Like I kind of expected like more of a stylized look for it, but no, not really there.
But they do show some other like weird shit with like some animated stuff. There's like a part with like an overhead like 16-bit RPG style.
It's so all over the place, man. I'm very curious about what the hell it is. So
I am too. Yeah. I have historically not actually vibed with Suda 51 stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't play Killer 7. I thought No More Heroes was fine, but I like dropped it halfway through.
Right.
And then I never played Shadows of the Damned, which seems probably like the one that would be most up my alley.
Yeah. They have that like re-release of it pretty recently too. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, He also did Lollipop Chainsaw, and I actually did. I didn't like that game like I thought I would.
Yeah.
I remember bouncing off that one kind of hard.
Yeah.
But I like that. They're still getting to do their stuff.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
This looks very cool to me. So it's definitely on the radar
for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that I didn't see more people losing their shit over this, because I thought Silent Hill F looked phenomenal.
Yeah. Okay, so admittedly, I did not watch this alone. I was at my friend's house. I was at my friend Kim's house when I watched this, and I was like, because they've been watching me play video games. I was like, oh, it would be fun if to watch this thing with, these are all the video games coming out, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're a big horror fan. And they were like, yeah, this stuff seems neat. And then this one came on, and they were like, oh, this looks so cool. Like, they were so into it, like, the entire time. That was like their favorite thing from the entire show, actually. It's
up there for me.
Yeah,
for sure. The monsters were pressing on Julian's ick factor button in a real big way. Things that twitch really bother me.
Okay.
Things that are missing their jaws really bother me.
Mm-hmm.
So things that are twitching and also missing their jaws are like right out.
Yeah.
I like the Japanese setting. That's a very interesting thing.
Yeah.
Personally, I like Silent Hill being in Silent Hill, and
I do
not
too, and I'm not sure how I feel
Silent
about
Hill
that.
everywhere.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about that. Like, I always like the idea that the town calls the people there, and that's where things happen.
Yeah. But then you don't get the Japanese setting, so that it makes for a very different game.
I'm curious how they'll explain that. If they can.
They do. Yeah. It honestly, it might be a thing like Silent Hill 4, where it wasn't going to be a Silent Hill game, and they were like, just throw the Silent Hill name on there, it'll sell better.
Yeah. Was that 4 or
that was 4? Yeah.
Okay.
4 was not intended to be a Silent Hill game.
Yeah, because that was The Room, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Got it. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. That does make sense.
Okay. I actually have a very important question that you can answer, because you're knee deep in it right now.
Sure.
When they were showing the trailers for the Silent Hill 2 remake, I was very off-put by how much combat was in the trailers.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the same thing here. There's a lot of combat in this trailer.
Yeah.
Do you feel that there's a lot of, too much combat or a lot of combat in the remake now that you're playing it? Or is it just that that's what they were focusing on?
It's not an insane amount. There's a lot of walking around and nothing is happening. So it kind of it doesn't feel overwhelming. But when a monster does show up, you're like, oh shit, right? As you should. Yeah. And they do enough to where it's like, okay, nothing's happening, and where I'm scared about going in every room, because I'm like, if something's in here, this is gonna be rough. But then nothing will be in there. And I'm like, okay, cool. I feel like I'm safe. And then it kind of lures you into a false sense of security. So you go into the next one, and then maybe there's something in there, maybe there's not. I don't know. It doesn't feel super overwhelming. There are some parts of it that I'm like, there's a little too much, maybe. And I haven't gotten to the hospital. I remember the hospital kind of being maybe a little bit more combat heavy from when I watched it anyway.
Right.
And I'm a little nervous about getting into all that stuff. Because that game's kicking my ass. I'm not good at it. Yeah.
Well, and that's probably the only thing that I'm a little off put by the trailer. And this is going to sound bad when I say it, but hear me out.
Yeah.
With the character being like a young schoolgirl.
Yeah.
I would like her to be less proficient at killing shit.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed like she was just kind of taking on whatever, including pretty big monsters.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds kind of sexist or whatever, but if it was a little schoolboy too, I would feel the same way, because the Silent Hill games have always been about characters that are not combat proficient,
right,
being forced into places of combat.
Right.
And I think it would be cool if they could play on the fact that this is a small character that doesn't have like a lot of like upper body strength and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And maybe you're not necessarily like meleeing the shit out of stuff. Maybe you're doing like sneakier shit to kill stuff.
Sure.
But this seemed like more traditional, like, no, we're just going to beat a thing with a pipe type of thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a minor quibble. Like, I think the game looks incredible.
Yeah,
and
it looks cool.
Coming out in September, like,
yeah,
which is going to be a theme.
A lot of games coming out in September. Yeah.
September is packed. And there was actually something at Summer Games Fest opening night. There was like an indie game.
Yeah.
That's coming out in September. It's like, oh, are you sure you want to do that?
Yeah. Probably
like, do you maybe
not.
want to push that a month or two? Because it's a little bit packed.
Yeah.
Because also Metal Gear Solid Delta comes out right at the end of August.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it does. That's good. It's always that time of year, man. There's a lot of shit.
Okay, and so this threw me the fuck off, Justin.
Okay.
Because I'm watching the Silent Hill F trailer and I'm like, man, I know Konami's
I know
a lot
exactly.
of shit.
I know exactly what you're gonna tell me was the next one. Yeah.
Konami's gone through a lot of shit, and deservedly so, right? They deserve the shit they've been getting, but like, as they've started to get back into the industry, I was like, okay, they're doing all the stuff that you should probably do, right? Good remakes to, one, remind you what they used to do, and two, get like development teams up to snuff.
Yeah.
Releasing smaller games, releasing really good collections of their older stuff, again, to, one, remind you what their legacy is, and two, to bring those games to a modern audience.
I agree.
And then this Castlevania game
That's exactly what
shows up.
Yep.
And I was like, fucking A, man. I can't believe this.
I immediately, what's funny is so I wasn't immediately like, oh, this is, I'm sitting there, and again, I'm watching it not by myself this time. And so they don't know, they're not like you and I, Julian. So they don't know anything. And I'm like, okay, this is either one of two things. This is either a Castlevania or it's the other thing that I can't remember the name of right now. But as soon as they show me the title, I'm going to be like, that's the one. And it was the other thing that I couldn't remember. It was Bloodstained.
Yeah. A full-on sequel to Bloodstained.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, and I meant to look into this and I didn't.
Yeah.
The developer name was not the same developer as Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, and I'm wondering if Iga is involved in this.
That was and I kind of kept expecting them to like be like, no,
I thought he was going to come out.
Yeah, that's what I did. I honestly did too. Or they were going to flash his name or do something, right? Because that seems like what you would do in that case. But like, no, they didn't really say that, and I didn't catch the fact that the developer was different either. I don't know who published the old Bloodstained either.
505 Games, which it is the same publisher.
Okay, interesting.
And because there's been more Bloodstained. They did like, there was a sequel to that 16 or that 8-bit Bloodstained game that was like a prequel to Ritual of the Night.
Yes. People liked that too. So
yeah, I haven't played those two like 8-bit ones. I should.
Yeah, people were high on that. There were people that liked that one better than the other one. So
interesting.
Yeah, I do remember that. This developer. Oh, did they actually do that? Oh no. Okay, hold on. I'm confused. This is showing me 505 Games. Never mind. That's not what I wanted. I wanted this developer, but they won't show it. Okay, so I don't know what the developer actually made, because like I click on the developer on Steam and it shows me Crime Boss Rocky City, and I'm like, I don't think they actually did that. And then it shows me Iodine Chronicle, and I'm like, okay, no, this is definitely not this developer. Because this is all 505 published shit.
Interesting though that 505 published the two former Konami Kickstarter games.
Yeah, they're all in on that stuff, it seems like, right? So yeah, don't know. It doesn't look
I'm hoping that we can get some confirmation either way, because I'm less interested if Iga is not directly involved, but what they showed looked hot.
According to this, it's the same developer. According to Steam, it's Art Play or whatever is the developer. That's what it's according to this. And that's the same one for the sequel, Scarlet Engagement. Bloodstained: The Scarlet Engagement is the new one. And it is the same developer, according to this. Now, whether he's involved or not, I don't know. But
oh man, I'm gonna so. my friend Shannon Colorado is always like really. She will always let people know when she's on her period for some reason, because I guess she thinks that like she needs to explain like if she's moody or something like that, even though like she never seems any different to me, emotion, like or whatever. But but I'm gonna be like, is it your Scarlet engagement? Is that? It's
a classy way to do it, you know.
Yeah, I like it. You know, sounds mysterious and kind of badass.
It's good. It is pretty good.
Ladies,
I like it.
You like stop calling it your period. Say it's your Scarlet engagement.
It's pretty good. Yeah. I can't argue with you.
Real quick though, it reminded me of Castlevania Portrait of Ruin in the sense that there's like two characters.
Yeah. Okay.
And at first I was concerned because I was like, oh, is this some co-op shit? But no, it seems like it's just like an NPC following you.
Yeah, that's kind of what it seemed like. Yeah.
Yeah. With some cool like dual tech moves. Yeah. And like they made a point of showing off that the outfits are crazier now, because you could get some decent cosmetics for the character in Ritual of the Night, but nothing as crazy as what they showed here.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm that's a day one for me. I'm super stoked. Then was that Digimon game, and I guess I'm buying a Digimon game, Justin, because
go nuts, Julian. I can't stop you.
It looks cool, man.
It looked neat. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it looks like it's a full-on RPG. So I'm getting, and so I'm sure Xavier will be happy to dump as much lore on me as he wants after this episode goes live. I'm getting the sense that Digimon is what I've been wanting from Pokemon forever, which is, just put some interesting story in here, like an actual RPG.
That's what it seems like.
I would be more interested in the mainline Pokemon games if they just gave me like an actual RPG story.
They're kind of bad about that stuff in Pokemon.
Yeah, so it's kind of always like, oh, well, go catch all the things and go to the gym.
It's the same, pretty much the same thing every time for the most part. There's nothing story wise. There's nothing really going on usually that I can remember off the top of my head. So yeah.
Here you're going like back to the past to stop like an apocalyptic future, and there's like all sorts of weird shit going on.
Why wouldn't we be doing that in the Digimon universe? Why wouldn't we be?
I have a lot of reasons that I feel that we should not do that, but again, my knowledge of Digimon is so minuscule.
Julian, mine too, but I feel
maybe
like
this is just a Tuesday for them.
That's right. That's exactly it. This is nothing for the Digimon universe. They got this. Okay, this is just run of the mill, pretty much. Another Digimon game about the apocalypse. Here we are.
Yeah. And then one of the biggest bombs of the night, Justin. Final Fantasy Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles.
That's what I figured you were going to say. Yeah. I was happy about this.
I was happy about this too.
Yeah.
It was disappointing as I dug further into it.
Yeah.
I will say, like, when they showed it, I was like, ooh, those enhanced graphics look like shit.
I said the same thing.
Yeah.
I said the same thing. Yeah. I was
but they were like, but you can play the classic graphics. I was like, okay, cool. Because dude.
Yeah.
Did you look at that upgraded job menu?
I was not sure what the fuck I was looking at when they showed that. So yeah.
It's like this weird like flow chart, and it looks like it was designed for like a mobile phone.
Yeah. To be fair, like the old stuff was kind of like, I could see where they would want to like improve upon it a little bit. Maybe this isn't probably the way to do it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like that circle kind of also fit in with like the
I forgot about this. I forgot about the circle. Yeah,
I thought the circle was like very.
I wasn't even
cool.
thinking about that. I'm right there with you on the enhanced graphics, because when they were showing it and they showed it side by side, I was like, it doesn't even really look that much fucking different. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you.
It looks smeared.
It maybe like I know what they were going for. They're like, let's get rid of the jagged edges that the PlayStation had, and on a lot of it. And I was like, I don't really think you need that.
No, and the classic version is in HD, and that's all I wanted.
Yeah, and that's me too.
I'm really torn. So the enhanced version has the ugly smooth graphics,
right?
but it has a brand new translation that is also fully voice acted.
Fully voice acted. I know.
Including Ben Starr playing Dysadarg, or we'll finally figure out how the fuck to say that name.
That's the reason to play that version, Julian, because
Right?
there's a lot of motherfuckers in there that I'm like, I have no idea how to
I'm
pronounce
sure I've been
their names.
saying them all wrong this
me
whole
too.
time.
Oh, me too.
Yeah. Don't even get me started on Ramses' last name. I will not even attempt.
Beowulf? I always thought it was Beowulf, but I don't really know. Yeah.
And so the classic version is the War of the Lions translation, which A+.
Yep.
But that is where that stops.
Yeah.
So it does not have the War of the Lions cutscenes. It does not have the extra characters or the new jobs from War of the Lions.
That's a bummer.
That's really weird.
Yeah.
And no word of like if they added anything to the enhanced version along those lines, even if it was like not the same content, but just something else.
What jobs did War of the Lions add? I know I played that
Onion
version.
Knight,
okay,
and Dark Knight, and then there was like another character which I think was from either Crystal Chronicles or it was a character from one of the like offshoots.
Yeah, I'm trying to think too. I think I know which one you're talking about, but I can't remember. It's been a while.
It was definitely a game that I didn't play.
Yeah,
I remember getting him last time I was playing the War of the Lions version.
Right. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I can't remember what the fuck their name is either. Okay, yeah. Anyway, that's a little bit of a bummer because that is a better version of the game. And
it was $60 because Square Enix tax, but
absolutely.
I secured a physical copy of it. So it's going to be crazy that this year, I think it's coming out this year, that I'm going to have Dragon Quest 3.
Take a guess what month it comes out.
Oh, that's September also, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
They also ruined one of the best lines of dialogue.
Oh, good.
Which felt like a very Nintendo translation type thing.
Right.
They got rid of the blame yourself or God, and now it's like blame yourself or the heavens or something like that.
Right.
Which I don't know. It's weird that we're going backwards in some respects on some of that stuff.
Yeah. I'm glad that they're bringing it back. I wish it would have been done a little bit better.
Me too.
Yeah.
I think that game deserves
it really
better.
Does. Like I was really hoping they'd lean more into like the art style that like War of the Lions cutscenes had for the remake.
That is what I've always wanted.
It's so cool looking.
If not a remake, that's what I want Final Fantasy Tactics 2 to look like.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be amazing. But like, I'm glad the original version is here. I even if it would have been like, hey, we've remade it, but it's like the Octopath style where it's all real, stylized and looks great. I'd have been into that. They didn't really do that. They just kind of made it like, I don't know, it's enhanced. Just shut up about it. I'm like, it just didn't really do much for me. And I love
it's also apparently missing a lot of quality of life stuff that the Tactics Ogre remaster has.
Yeah,
so
I'm sure.
It's a weird thing because this is like, there are a lot of people who will tell you that this is the best Final Fantasy game. Those people are wrong because it's not a Final Fantasy mainline game, but it is one of the best strategy RPGs ever made.
People are right. It's totally fine. I'm one of those people, but that's fine.
Yes, I will fight you with my legs.
Better than 10,
as Mitchell Mann would say.
Way better than 10.
No, I think it's a better game than 10. I'm not going to argue that point. I'm just saying that it's not a mainline Final Fantasy game.
It's better than all of them, but except for maybe 7. Okay, maybe 6. 6 is pretty good too.
Next up is Baby Steps. Moving on.
Oh yeah,
give a
shit.
shit.
Who cares? Nobody. I didn't care about that either. It was at least it was short. What they showed.
At least yes. Hiragami is a cool looking like side scrolling platformer where the character can like turn to different origami stuff.
Okay.
Looked really cool.
Yeah.
Also coming out in September. So sorry, Hiragami. You're gonna get buried.
Yeah.
And then everybody's golf hot shots, which we'd already seen.
Yeah, I forgot we had already seen that. Yeah.
Yeah. Hot Shots Golf is one of the few golf games that I have played.
I'll
and
fuck
enjoyed.
with some Hot Shots, man. I like Hot Shots. Those are fun.
Yeah. They had Pac-Man in there, but I'm hoping that they get even crazier. Because like it's Bandai Namco, so they could go like really over the top with that shit.
Bring all the anime boys into the golf game.
Exactly.
We demand the anime boys. Just
don't
the boys.
skimp on it.
Yeah.
They showed some more Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, which that's July. I am actually pretty interested in that.
Which one was it?
Ninja Gaiden Ragebound.
Oh,
this
yeah,
is
that
the
looked kinda neat.
side-scrolling.
Yeah.
This is from the Game Kitchen, the people who did Blasphemous and The Last Door.
Right. Yeah.
So it's got a really good pedigree.
Yeah. Yeah, that looked neat too.
I do want to check that one out.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, okay. This, Justin.
Yeah.
This is what I've been waiting for. Digital Clips has been doing those really cool like game collections with like the archival like the timelines and the developer interviews and like all of this bonus material.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is so cool. I don't give a shit about any of these video games.
Yeah.
I do consider myself a game historian. It's just that like Atari age stuff is not, it's an interesting curiosity to me. I would almost rather just have the bonus stuff and not the games. Sure. I don't really care about playing them. And then they did like what was it? The Jordan Mechner stuff. And again, didn't play his stuff.
Right.
So that didn't have any interest for me. Tetris, it didn't have Game Boy Tetris, so get fucked.
That's weird. Yeah.
But now.
Yeah.
Now, here we are.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
And it is a robust collection.
It really is.
It's 1 through 4, but also like nearly every version of those games, including the Game Boy version of Mortal Kombat, which I owned.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to going back and re-experiencing how shitty that game was, but I didn't care.
Yeah. You didn't give a shit. No, I'm right there with you. Yeah, no, it looked great. I was like, that's really fun. That's a lot of fun.
And like they were so meticulous about keeping a lot of that stuff. So it's going to be amazing. Like seeing all of that, like behind the scenes footage of the filming of the fighters and stuff like that.
Yes.
The interviews. I hope that they have a lot of stuff on have you heard that they were going to remake Mortal Kombat like with digitized graphics? They actually had gotten the like actors to play the characters again.
Really?
And they were like a pretty decent way through development, and then it got scrapped.
Interesting. I did not know. That's cool though. Because
I've wanted that for years.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I was like, I want to see what you can do with digitized graphics today.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah.
I think you could do some really cool shit with that.
Yeah.
And it would also, that's the reason why I don't mind their shitty animations back in the day, because like they didn't have a choice. Now it's a choice.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
But that's one that I'm going to like get a physical version of.
Yeah,
and that is going to be a very cool thing.
I thought that was pretty cool too. I liked how they were showing a little bit of like the documentary stuff and all that. Yeah, it looked great.
Yeah. And then right after that, they announced that Sony's making their own fight stick, which is kind of crazy.
Oh, I didn't. I kind of must have tuned out for that. That's fun though. Yeah, why not?
It was blink and you miss it.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
You might have been explaining Mortal Kombat to your friend.
I probably was. I don't even remember. Yeah.
Let's see. And then Koei Tecmo and Team Ninja announced Neo 3.
Yes, they did.
Which there's a demo out. It's really hard, but it's cool.
Did you mess with it? That's fun.
I did. Yeah.
Cool.
I need to go back. Like I got to the first like boss and I was like, man, that's really hard. But like, I also didn't really like try.
That's fair.
Also, it's weird with these types of games because it has the attack buttons on square and triangle as God intended. But because I'm thinking of it like a Souls game, I end up pressing the triggers like by mistake.
Sure. Yeah.
Which man, I hate that they've rewired my brain that way because I don't like attack buttons on the triggers. But
I can't remember how 2 was. I keep thinking 2 had it on the top. It's been forever
because
since
I think
played
Stranger
it.
of Paradise, I remapped the buttons.
Yeah, like I keep thinking they had it like that. Because in my head, I'm like, no, I remember it being on the top. I don't really get into the Neo series like at all. I think a lot of the Team Ninja stuff, like the Souls-like shit that they do, is kind of like there's something off about it. Like they have a style, but like I just don't really care for it.
It's weird because like the combat is a lot faster. Like you're doing like faster and longer combos than you would do in any From game, but it still has the the high damage from the enemies and the need to like avoid stuff and I don't know. It is a weird thing.
They can't ever seem to figure out fucking loot for anything. Like every one of their games has a huge problem with like you're just picking up all this shit and you're like, okay.
I will say that in the like 45 minutes that I played that demo, I was in that menu like a lot more than I would have liked to be.
That's what I mean. Like
constantly equipping stuff.
When you pick up something in Dark Souls like that, or a Souls from Soft game, right? You're like, oh, what's this new thing? Even if you're not interested in it, it's cool. Like you want to look at it and see what it is and what it's all about. And then you try it out and you go, oh, that'd be cool. And maybe down the road, if I do a different character, I can use this, right? But here it's just like, I picked up like 7 katanas on my way from like point A to point B.
Yeah. They just need to make it to where the stuff is rarer and it doesn't drop nearly as much.
Make it mean something. Just like, it's so weird. I never liked their style of doing that, but...
But I was thinking as they were showing this trailer, I was like, man, we have come full circle with development, because during the 360 generation, the 7th generation, Japan had a really hard time keeping up, and it was like this weird thing where like anything from Japan really felt like last generation, or they were trying really hard to emulate Western game design and failing because they didn't understand what made those games good.
Yeah, they sure did.
And now we have come around to Japan is kicking the West ass with game design. And because like Team Ninja in the last few years has made Neo 2, Final Fantasy Origin Stranger of Paradise, Ronin, and now Neo 3. And it's like, there are very few game companies that can match that output over the same course of time.
Right.
RGG is one of them, but they're also from Japan.
Yeah.
Capcom is another one, but they're also from Japan. Meanwhile, you've got like, Naughty Dog or like BioWare or places like
years and years
fucking ever to release like one title.
And then the games come out, and if they're a disappointment, it's just like, oh, well, guess that sucks for us. Like Dragon Age, I'm gonna guess that game didn't do as well as they hoped it would have.
No, that game unfortunately tanked. It didn't deserve to. I thought I thought
it was perfectly fine. Yeah,
it's perfectly fine.
Perfectly fine. Yeah. No, I mean, you're absolutely right. Like I got nothing.
These games don't look as nice as their Western counterparts.
Sure,
but I would take a hit in graphics to have more games.
And they're fun
from people that I love.
But they're fun though. Like they're fun. That's all really people like that are playing video games want a lot of the time. It's just like, I just want the game to be fun, and if it's fun, people will buy it and play it. It's crazy how that works. Crazy that the video game is fun.
I mean, I want some good storytelling in there as well.
And you can still do that. It doesn't have to look like a fucking masterpiece or real life or whatever to do that. You can absolutely do that in so many different ways. And it's kind of wild.
Yeah. This I'm really mentioning it for former Nerds Without Pants co-host Angelo.
Okay.
They announced Thief VR Legacy of Shadow for PSVR, which looks really cool. There was a couple VR games that were shown this week where I was like, damn, I want to play that. And I feel bad because I have a PSVR too, and I really love it, but it really boils down to, but I've also got a lot of other shit to play that doesn't require me like kind of strapping in for the night.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
So that's the thing there, but there, because there's Behemoth from Skybound last year was one I really wanted to play that looked really awesome.
Yeah.
But it's like, but I don't know when I'm going to work that in. That's
I don't know when to tell you to work that in. So yeah,
exactly.
The Stage Select is made possible through the support and funding of viewers like you. Here are our wonderful patrons.
You know, Justin, before we keep going,
Okay.
because I'm thinking about it right now, let's go ahead and thank our lovely patrons.
I was going to remind you afterwards, so yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. Because we've still got some Sony stuff to get into.
Absolutely.
We appreciate all of our lovely patrons, but every week we like to thank the executive producer tier. And this week we have Addy XD.
We have Big Baker. We
have Bill Tucker of A Gamer Looks at 40.
We have Bookie.
We have Casey Curran.
We have David Portnov.
We have Dennis Robertson.
We have Dr. Delicious.
We have Eric Peacock of Soundtracker.
We have Extrian.
We have Game Johnson of Retrofits.
We have Matt Jorgensen.
We have Philip P.K. Becker.
We have Raymond Crum.
We have 60, who's noticed strange colors in the night sky as of late.
I was wondering how you're going to get there on that one. There you go. We have Stephen Lobo.
And last but not least, we have Xavier Krieger.
All right.
Look, I cracked weird on that first one, and I just thought I'd roll with it.
No, it's good. It's good. Like I said, I seen the long one. I seen the 60 one, and I was like, how are they going to get there on this? I don't know. Let's see. Let's find out.
Yeah. This next one, Justin, is one that I wrote off and then got interested and then wrote off again and then got interested in again.
Sure.
Which is let's see, let me get the name. Tides of Tomorrow.
Okay. I kind of remember that. There was a lot of stuff with the sea and the tides in this presentation.
Yeah. So this is that first person one where it, aesthetically, it looks a little bit like Subnautica. There's a guy with a mask running around, and it's got some vaguely BioShock vibes to it.
Okay.
And so that's when I was interested. And then they said that it was multiplayer, and I was like, okay, I'm out.
Yeah.
But the multiplayer is actually really cool because they're actually doing the FromSoft asymmetrical stuff where you're following in the footsteps of other players and then choosing to either continue their story.
I remember this one. Yeah.
Yeah, you can follow their same path, and it apparently changes their game in some way, or you can go a different way. It looks very interesting.
Neat. That sounds neat. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a thing where, like I said, I kind of was back and forth on it, but I was like, okay, no, this is interesting.
Right.
And I found it interesting that it has a firm February 24th date, because usually you don't see games with they'll usually tell you the year, but they don't tell you an actual date these days.
Right.
So that was kind of interesting. The Astrobot dev came out to talk about new levels coming out. That's
stuff
fine.
For Astrobot. Great.
This next game, I'm actually, let's see. I was interested until I read what it actually is on the PlayStation.
Okay,
blog.
excellent. I'm curious because sometimes I don't do that, and
right.
Yeah.
So there was this game with it looked like they were almost like marionette puppets.
Okay.
And it was like a pirate theme.
Yes. Was this Sea Remnants?
Yes.
Okay. Excellent. I told you there are lots of sea.
Lots of sea.
Yeah.
And there was so much going on in this trailer,
yeah,
dude.
I could not figure out what the fuck this game was, so I'm curious to know what the hell it actually is.
Because you got these characters that but really what they look like is the wooden maquette figures that you use for drawing figures.
Yeah.
But with actual carved faces.
Sure.
But then there was a character that looked like Guybrush Threepwood, and I was like, oh, is this the new Escape from Monkey Island? And no. And then you see a character sneak up on a guard and stealth kill, and I started to get Assassin's Creed 4 vibes, and then it cut to ship combat that looked really cool, but all of a sudden, there's this weird sea creature that comes out of the water, and it's flying, and it looks like an alien from another planet. And then there was this ginormous crab that's firing these big fireballs at the ship. And I was there's so much going on here. And then all of a sudden it looked like it was a turn-based RPG for part of it.
Yeah, I do recall that. Yes. Yeah, it was so all over the place. Yeah.
But apparently it's a multiplayer survival game.
Oh, why wouldn't it be, Julian?
I don't know, man. I need to see more, but
yeah,
I might be out if it's just a solely multiplayer type thing.
It might be from that description, it might be like Ark.
Maybe, and if it is, then I'm more into that.
That kind of sounds like something it could be. That sounds like an Ark trailer if I've ever heard one, where it's just like, yeah, there's a lot of cool elements here. I don't know.
Yeah, I would like to see more.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was like one of the most interesting things for me until I saw somebody post on Blue Sky that was like, oh, it's a multiplayer blah blah blah, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
So
I gotcha.
Next thing is probably one of the biggest things, and one of the things that I was most looking forward to. First Light 007.
Oh yeah,
from IO Interactive.
Looks cool.
Okay, I'm just gonna get out of here.
What?
I don't know. I was like, one of the biggest things. You're like, yeah, it's fine.
It looks cool. No, it looks cool. What do you want from me? It looks great.
It does.
Yeah.
What do you think of the Bond of the Bond design? Because this has been controversial.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I almost need to see a picture of him, but because it's been a little bit in my brain. They're going for like young Bond, like almost prequel Bond, right? Is that what I'm to understand?
This is like Bond becoming 007.
That's what I thought.
And joining MI6,
yes.
Which that's what I thought Casino Royale was supposed to be. I mean, he does become 007 in that movie, but
right.
I thought it was supposed to be like a rookie Bond, and then they got Daniel Craig, who looked like way older than a rookie should be.
Right.
They did confirm after the fact that he's supposed to be about 26 in this game. And there were people saying like, oh, it's James Bond Jr. But I was kind of thinking long term when I saw this trailer, and I was like, I don't think IO Interactive wants this to be a one and done thing. I think they want to at least get 3 games out of this. And if you do that, this is the origin story of this James Bond.
Yeah.
And then a second game is probably him 5 or 6 years older.
Yeah.
And then a third game is either him towards the end of his career, or maybe just like, nice and seasoned, but older still, the Bond that you think of in the movies, right? But you're going to get sort of like the 2013 Tomb Raider trilogy, right? Like she doesn't really become like Lara Croft as we know her. Until that third game.
Right. Honestly, like looking, so I looked up a picture of them now. Looking at them, I could see where people would be like upset about it, I guess. But like, it kind of looks like, if we're placing them at like, oh, this is the beginning of James Bond, like, right? This is where they start. I could see them aging up and looking exactly like how my brain would picture James Bond, I guess. A James Bond, like, so it works for me. But also like I could also see somebody going, it just looks like Nathan Drake. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess it kind of.
I could see that.
Yeah.
A lot of people were saying Tom Cruise. I actually got Michael Fassbender from X-Men First Class vibes.
Sure.
From it. In certain scenes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, they showed a sizzle reel of gameplay, a lot of shooting, but also some driving, which was cool to see, right? Because driving has always been like a big part of those movies.
I agree. It's funny because that's maybe the one concern thing I had when I seen it. Not because like it's not part of the Bond thing. I was like, yeah, no, you should have that in a Bond game. But I was also like,
just because of the pedigree of the developer.
Because of the pedigree of the developer, I'm like, they've never really done that. So hopefully they can pull it off.
I'm trying to remember if Freedom Fighters had.
I don't remember if it
stuff.
did either. Now that you mention it, but then again,
but even so, that was like 20 years ago.
So long ago, though. So like, whether those people are still there, God only knows. Like, this is like, I'm just considering this a first go for them at something like that. Now, I'm not saying that's like an impossible thing to pull off. I'm sure they will fucking test it and make it to where it's
and
fine.
I'm sure that they hired the people they need to hire to make that stuff good.
Yeah.
They've had so much success with that World of Assassination trilogy, and they learned a lot of things, and they were able to not only gain their independence back, but also grow as a studio.
Yeah.
So I think it's fine.
I think it'll be okay too.
As I had said at the top of the show, they are going to show more of it over the weekend. So we'll revisit this next week.
Absolutely.
I think the thing that I am most curious about, and the thing that I'm hoping that this game has, is obviously you're not going to do the same type of stuff that Hitman does, because one, why would you?
Yeah.
And two, like the franchise doesn't really, like James Bond doesn't go around like just like ruthlessly murdering people in funny ways.
Yeah.
What I want to see is them kind of, if you're not doing like the straight up stealth stuff, I want to see more of him schmoozing and mingling with people, and maybe there be some sort of like Alpha Protocol style dialogue stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's kind of the focus. And maybe you're building your bond in a certain way, right?
That or like I would love to see like the Hitman open-endedness of like there's a couple different ways you can go about this, and one is like,
Absolutely.
hey, go about it talking people up, do this and get yourself in there, right? Or like, oh no, I'm gonna sneak my way through here, or like, no, we go loud or do whatever. Like I want that open-endedness to it. I almost hope it's just like every level feels like it could be its own movie. Would be really fucking a cool feel, right?
That would be, yeah.
That's my hope for it. Now that may be thinking, way too pie in the sky, but like that's what I'm hoping for, because I feel like they could pull that off. Like even if maybe not a full feature length film, right? But like but
you're right. Like have every chapter open with like the him shooting the screen and with a different title.
That could be, you could go there. That would be fun. That would be really fun.
Yeah.
They don't have to even do that for me. Like I'm okay with them not doing that. Like all I want is just like every mission feels like it's like if this was its own movie, like or like real long scene in a movie, right? I would be into this,
Right. And I think the tagline is like earn the number. So I think this is going to be really cool.
Mm-hmm. I'm very curious about it.
Then they showed Ghost of Yote just to say, hey, we're going to show more in July. And I was like, okay.
I expected that to open the show for some reason. I was like, they'll probably show that first just because it's coming out this year and that's like their thing,
Yeah. It almost would have been better for them to not do this.
Yeah.
It just felt like a weird...
To their credit, it was short. It was really short.
It was fine.
Yeah.
I was also disappointed that we didn't get Wolverine, but...
Nothing, yeah. I didn't even think about Wolverine, yeah.
But they closed with something exclusive that had not been talked about before.
That was pretty... This was a pop-off for me. I'm not going to lie.
It was a pop-off for me, too. And people, like... I implore everybody to go watch Maximilian Dude's reaction to this.
Yeah.
Because that was some insane shit. But yeah, Arc System Works working on... Hold on, this name is insane.
A Token, Marvel Fighters or something like that. I know it's like
hold on.
Weird EN.
Oh, this system doesn't have...
While Julian's looking this up, though, I just want to describe what the moment was for me in this trailer, because I don't know Marvel stuff very well. So they're showing the initial thing.
Marvel Tokon, Fighting Souls.
There it is, Fighting Soul. I couldn't remember what exactly it was. Fighting something.
Yeah.
But they show like kind of like the Marvel style, like it's like white and gray, kind of like the silhouette type deal or whatever that is that they do, and then Arc System Works comes on, but like I don't recognize the first image they show. Like I don't recognize that at all. I just see Arc System Works and I'm like, oh okay, it's probably it's like a Guilty Gear thing or something like that. All right, that's neat. And I'm not even really cognizant of how far along they are in it. And then the Captain America thing comes on and it kind of clicks. I'm like, no fucking way they got this fucking license. That's
same
insane.
Thing for me.
Like I was like, holy shit. And then sure shit. It goes into it. I'm like,
what? Okay. Was the pop off when it was Iron Man and Captain America just immediately start clashing?
Yeah. I was like, okay, this is great. I was like, holy shit, they fucking did it. That's incredible. I was like, I was like, even if I never play this game, which I'm gonna play this game.
I'm buying this.
Yeah, I know, right?
Because I was going to buy Dragon Ball Fighters, but like I played the demo and I was like, this is too crazy for me. But I like Marvel way more than Dragon Ball, so like,
sure. Oh, and it'll be nuts. But like, I loved just like the designs of everybody, where they're just like they're Marvel designs,
so
but
cool.
like kind of anime too. And I'm like, this is
they're not. They're not kind of
Yeah,
anime,
kind of
Justin.
anime.
They're
Yeah,
anime
yeah,
as
they're really
fuck.
Anime. Yeah. I was just like, this is so great. Like
4v4.
Yeah. That was nuts. Now my immediate concern was when they said it, was like, okay, but you've only shown 8 characters, so there's got to be more, right? And they're sure as shit. Like at the end, they're like, oh yeah, no, there's going to be more. We're going to show them as we go. And I'm like, okay,
there's gonna
thank
be a
God,
lot.
thank God.
Yeah. It looks bloody gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like ArcSys has really perfected that weird voodoo that they've done with making 3D characters look like animation.
Yeah.
The designs are hot. One of the things that I notice is that it has the verticality of like the old like Capcom games, but it's much higher verticality.
Right.
Like 4 screens high and some shit.
Yeah.
Dr. Doom, one of his moves, he just pulls out a fucking pistol and shoots you in the head.
Why not? Why wouldn't he do that?
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so afterwards they actually had like a pretty long like deep dive on it with the developers, and like the lead of the project said that that Marvel didn't like their first designs, and then they came back and they said, give us the designs that you want to make.
Right.
That's when they went harder on the anime, because like Ms. Marvel looks like straight up like cute anime girl with the massive eyes. Iron Man is like one of the coolest like armor designs I've seen for him. It's like there's only one artist that I've seen that's come close to this in the American comics, and it was like a run right before Riri Williams came on to the scene.
Okay.
That had like kind of this similar aesthetic, but that one was like kind of a trimmer armor than this.
Sure.
It looks really cool. And it's like a PlayStation exclusive. That's the crazy part.
Yeah.
Like it is Sony, contracting this game out from ArcSys. And a lot of people were like, oh, well, Capcom's dead now, or like, what does this mean for Marvel versus Capcom, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, first of all, Capcom is like killing it with Street Fighter 6, so I think they're fine.
They'll be all right.
But my thing has always been, because ArcSys makes games for other people, right?
Yeah.
And I've always thought that like, because Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite like got so derided for its graphics and everything, I was like, I could see them bringing in ArcSys to do a Marvel vs. Capcom
That would be fun. Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel that this is like the first step towards that.
It's possible.
So
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll go that far. That'd be really cool if they did that.
Yeah.
I feel like Marvel vs. Capcom probably it may not ever happen again, and I'm kind of personally okay with that.
It's possible.
Yeah.
I think you and I are both in the camp of like, let's just do Capcom versus Capcom.
I was just gonna say I'm on the Castle Super Beast train of just do Capcom versus Capcom. You have so much there. It would be great. You could make a really awesome thing out of that, and everybody would be into it. Like that's all you need. You don't really need the Marvel license. People are just want. I mean, Marvel will sell to certain people for sure, absolutely, 100%. Don't get me wrong on that front. This was so cool, though. I'm just gonna say it was so cool. I as soon as I see it, I was like, man, good for them.
Yeah. And I also love the fact that the trailer is completely in Japanese with Japanese dialogue, and there's something very cool.
I didn't even. I forgot about that. And the entire time,
Captain
I'm like,
America and
they're
Iron
not
Man.
speaking English. I was like, they're
not
crazy.
speaking English.
I can't believe they're getting away with it. Yeah,
the dialogue is so Japanese.
Oh,
like,
I know.
Sentai style.
Yeah, it was awesome. I loved it. It was so cool. Yeah. I'm really excited for that. That's awesome.
Me too.
I was like, okay, yeah, you can close on that. You can close on this.
Absolutely.
100%. That's a big fucking thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was awesome.
Me too.
Yeah.
What an incredible showing so far. Now I have a real treat for you. I was lucky enough to get to know these next developers last year when they debuted their upcoming game, 22 Rifle. Now, Jacob Washington and Craig Winslow from Sweet Tea Games are here to tell us more about their project and what they've been up to since the last SCAF 3.
Well, hi there. I'm founder of Sweet Tea Games, Jacob Washington. head of the upcoming game project 22 Rifle, and I'm joined by my lifelong friend and co-developer Craig Winslow. And we just wanted to talk to y'all, about what the future holds for good old Sweet Tea Games, what we're working on, what we're planning to do here. It's a whole gosh darn thing up where we're at. So I'm going to turn you over to my friend Craig here and just let him go.
That's right, Jacob. But first, might we interest y'all in some high-quality, rare, commemorative pocket watches we have for sale or trade? We're open to just about anything. We got this here Jeff Gordon Winston Cup Champion commemorative pocket watch. We got this here MASH 20th Anniversary pocket watch.
We got this here limited edition Dale Earnhardt Jr. pocket watch. There's one that's got the Sprite logo on it. Anything you want to get. We got us some pocket watch. We recently, we may have procured some pocket watches at a local flea market. All right, we might have went a little bit crazy. So we're looking to sell or trade. Just come on by the studio. Ask about the watch drawer. We'll open that up for you and we'll show you what else is in there. You can just take your pick and tell you.
We're mostly looking to sell, but we accept trade in guns, knives, or lightly used auto parts. Really anything, honestly. We're open to trading all kinds of goods for these here watches. We just want to get them out to you, where they could find a good home. You could tell the time and such. Now, you may be asking yourself, why in the year of our Lord, 2025, would I need a pocket watch when I got one of them there cellular telephones and I can just look at what time it is? Well, let me tell you, style. All right, you pull one of them bad boys out on a date, let me tell you. Old Diane, she's going to be impressed, let me tell you.
That is something we will talk about at another time, Craig. But you know what? On behalf of Sweet Tea Games, we would like to, thank y'all for your continued support and such. And, thanks for, being supportive. I don't really know what people say at the end of these things. I mean, keep an eye out for that there 22 rifle. It's come to stores, or, wherever them there video games are sold. Thank y'all.
Thank y'all.
Well, that was a presentation. Thanks to Jacob and Craig from Sweet Tea Games. And now more exciting things from SCAF 3.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Have you been looking for the state's top applesauce ranch? Well, look no further. Located conveniently in one place we will read too fast for you to remember, Ross's Applesauce Ranch is the #1 applesauce ranch in not only our state, but in 3 states. Ross's Applesauce Ranch raises all its applesauce ethically and tells them stories about dragons, ensuring that when you take your applesauce home, it not only tastes good, it's well educated. So stop on into Ross's Applesauce Ranch today and tell them Chris sent you.
All right, Justin. So next up, we have the big. Well, I mean, honestly, I think we both are in agreement that the Sony thing. We didn't really I think stress how psyched we were for the Sony stuff.
I really liked it. I thought it was a lot better than I expected it to be. Because I
think every game I was at least interested in.
Yeah. I usually when they put the state of play moniker on things, I'm like, oh, okay, temper your expectations a little bit. It might not be super exciting. Usually it's the showcase things that people get excited about or whatever. And I was like, okay, so, might see something, we'll see some new things, but who knows what they'll be. And I was like, you're right. Every single thing that they showed, and there's one that you didn't even mention that I seen. I think they'd shown it before, which was Sword of the Sea, that I had a new interest in because I was like, oh, it's a snowboarding game. I could play a snowboarding game. That might be kind of cool, actually. I like a snowboarding game.
I thought of you when they showed that. I think I glossed over it when we were going through everything. But I was like, this This seems like something that Justin might fuck with.
Yeah, I wasn't into it until I realized kind of what it was doing. I was like, oh, it's like a snowboarding game. Okay, yeah, I might fuck with that. That seems okay. So yeah, like I had kind of like an interest in just about everything. Like even stuff I was like, I might not touch. Like Neo 3, I'm probably not going to touch that because I played the Neo games. But it was still like, it's cool that they announced that and had that here. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, like. I thought it was really good. It was a lot better than I expected. I left it and it was like, yeah, no, video games, they're still happening. This is good.
Yeah. And then opening night live happened, which was less that.
Like the opposite of that. I we'll get into it, but yeah, like the opposite for me.
But honestly, I was kind of happy to see that because I was like, there's too much on my plate already.
Yeah,
like
that's true. That's true. Opening night live is like, I like what it does. It's giving a spotlight to a lot of like lesser known developers a lot of the time, and that's really cool. But a lot of it is like, here's our ad for like, Wuthering Waves or whatever the new Hoyo thing is, and that pays the bills. I get it. God bless.
There was like a full on block of a bunch of like mobile gotcha style games, and it's funny because I'm like, this art is so nice and these characters look so cool. I wish you were making a better game.
Yeah. I'm sure those games are fine, but like they're very, they are gotcha games. That's just what they are.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. The games are probably fine, but like I know that they're designed to trap me.
They are, and I have a problem with that stuff, so I really stay away from it. But yeah, like,
and even the best ones, right? Just by nature of what they are, like the actual gameplay loop is a lot more bite sized because they're intended for like smaller sessions. And
right.
That's not how I game. So
no,
that's the other thing too. Is like Genshin Impact is probably the one that I could see myself actually getting into because it's like a full on like world to explore with shit to do in it.
But this is where a lot of the games that show up where I'm just like, I'm never gonna play that in a million years, and I don't know if anybody else is either, because it's like, hey, here's our new like multiplayer shooter thing that we've come up with, and I'm like, all right, that's cool. Yeah,
and I think Geoff Keighley, he's doing good work, and I really appreciate it, but he hasn't been able to lock things in the summer the way he does for the Game Awards. Like, he gets big shit at the Game Awards, where at Summer Games Fest, like, the companies are still pretty, like, content to do their own thing.
Yeah.
Where I think even if he could just get the announcement and then get the bigger deep dive at the individual showcases.
It's tough because he's also competing against the other companies too, in a way. Like, Sony wants things to be announced for their stuff because that makes them look good. Xbox wants them to be announced on their thing because that makes them look good, or whatever. They each one wants their presentation to be the one that is being talked about to some degree, And Keighley doesn't. He's doing his best, but I'm sure there's some degree of people who are like, well, if we announce it here and then it's on the Xbox thing, it's not gonna, like, Xbox will be upset or whatever, so they probably don't want them to announce it. I'm guessing there's a lot of stuff like that, right?
There is, but the way it used to be is that you would have the big 3 press conferences before E3, so you would have it used to be, I think it would go like Microsoft, Nintendo, Sony,
right?
And then also you would have sprinkled in there, you would have like Ubisoft, and you would have Square,
Bethesda.
But then there would be more stuff at the actual E3 show. Like, they would actually show more like gameplay, there'd be like the announcement trailer at the press conference, and then like the gameplay trailer or gameplay showcase,
right?
Like at the actual show, and more of that was getting hyped out to us, over the internet. So that's the part where I think he needs to kind of work on it a little bit better. And to his credit, like, he did mention like some of the games were going to be like playable at Summer Games Fest. And then also, I forgot that he also does this for Gamescom in Europe. So some of the stuff that I'm most excited about is actually going to be playable for people at that show. Right. So a couple of these like really big ones that I'm looking forward to, like we'll get actual like hands-on impressions
right.
by the end of the by the fall. So
there was long stretches of this where I was just like, do I need to watch this? I won't lie, like there was a couple like big stretches where I was just like, I'm just not into anything being shown here. And that part of that's just because like some of the cooler stuff just isn't my cup of tea. There was a lot of horror games in here, and I'm like, I'm not a horror guy, so
there was a lot of horror games, and there was a lot of people chasing the FromSoft formula.
Yeah, that too. That's the other thing where I'm like, I don't hate FromSoft by any stretch. I think they're really cool and doing interesting things for the most part, but like people really want to make a FromSoft game because they like those games and they want to make their own. And
but there are much worse things for the industry to be chasing these days.
For sure. I'm glad it's happening, and like there are ways to innovate over what FromSoft does, or like I think my thing that I keep going on about is like I wish that they weren't like all focused on the monster design and aesthetics of the FromSoft. I wish that they would do like more unique stuff there, because that's, as I've said, that's the part of the From's games where I'm like kind of checked out on. Yeah, I get it. Because
they opened with a game where I was like, okay, I can see the appeal here. You're kind because like it the trailer has a song by I think it's Behemoth. They're like a Euro metal band that's signed with Nuclear Records, and I listen to a lot of people that are signed with Nuclear Records. Sure. So like, I was getting Doom vibes from it, because I was like, okay, you take the From thing, but then you put a little bit of the old Ultraviolence in it with like, because the focus was on like these really brutal finishing moves and stuff like that. And I was like, that's something that I haven't seen in one of these games. So that's kind of cool. But the more I was watching it, I was like, this kind of looks like an Xbox 360 game, and not in a positive light. I was like, what's with this color palette? Yeah. Everything is like gray and brown, an Xbox 360 game.
So this is Mortal Shell 2, right? That you're talking about? Mortal Shell 1, I watched, I think Wooly and Reggie play it on their channel, the original. And the concept of the game is it's not FromSoft like proper, like where you build it, make a character and you're shooting for a build. It's like you find like bodies or whatever, and then you like take over the bodies. So like the classes are just like kind of predetermined, if I remember correctly. It's kind of that's its own unique thing that it's trying to do. If this one's the same way, which I'm guessing it is. Why that's the main core of the first game. That's where the name comes from. So yeah,
right.
It didn't look bad, but it like I remember the first game like it was like it was one of those things where it's like you're going for it, you're doing the FromSoft thing, but it's not quite there, and it's hard to say if this one's gonna be there too. I don't know. Like I immediately seen it and was like, yeah, it's that sure looks like a sequel to that game, I guess. It looks better than the first one did. I will say that. The first one was like really not impressive.
I remember the first one feeling like super generic, where this one felt like a game that had its own identity.
It has a little bit of its own identity now. So kudos to them. Like they're.
And I will say, as I just said, I'm not a big fan of like chasing that From Software monster design, but I actually dug a lot of the monster designs that I saw here. Yeah, it's like, okay. I got actually stronger Berserk vibes from this game than I get from a lot of the FromSoft games.
Yeah. I can see that for sure.
Now that I'm pretty well versed in Berserk.
Absolutely.
Next, they showed a mostly cinematic trailer for a new PC RTS.
Sure.
I will say that this year was better. We need to get away from the cinematic trailer shit. Yeah. I've been saying it for years, but at least this year you got the cinematic trailer with at least a bit of gameplay at the end, because I just need to get an idea of what you're going for.
What the game is, actually? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it helps.
It does.
It's always weird when you see a cool trailer and then they announce what the game actually is. Like a lot of the multiplayer stuff is like this, where it's like, this trailer looks pretty cool, all right, and then it's like, and it's a 32-person extraction shooter, and you're like, okay, never mind, I don't really give a shit about this. Immediately forget what I just watched.
There was a couple of those.
There was a couple of those, yeah.
But the only reason I brought this one up is because Chronicles Medieval is one of the most generic ass names I can think of. It sounds like an acid flip on Steam.
It's the Chef Man of video games, is what it is.
You're not wrong.
I know.
They had the creator of Sonic, the actual creator of Sonic. I thought that was very interesting that he's getting his due now. That Yuji Naka is behind bars.
Yeah.
To come out and show more of the new Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. And the only reason I bring that up is because, Ichiban Kasuga and Joker in a racing game might have sold me.
They're going for it. I like what they're doing. I don't know if I'm gonna play it. It's a kart racer ultimately, but like, hey, it's a cool idea. People like those Sonic racing games, and
I still think that they should have just gone with like the Sega Racing All Stars thing and just cram it full of Sega classic characters.
Putting Sonic's name on there is probably I don't know. There's probably some sort of marketing strategy to doing that, but like,
you're not wrong.
Yeah, I mean, and from what I've seen of the new Mario Kart, maybe it'll be better. I wasn't very impressed by the new Mario Kart from what I've seen.
Moving along, there was a new action RPG from Bandai Namco. I thought it was interesting because like the art style was kind of weird because like parts of it looked real realistic and then other parts of it looked like plastic anime.
Yeah.
In a way that was not flattering, but like the gameplay looked cool and it was all built around like a time loop or something, and I was like, oh, this looks like a cool new original thing. I was like, oh, this is Code Vein 2. All right. Like
yeah.
Which is, I mean, no shade. Like I meant like Code Vein looked cool. I just never got around to playing it.
Yeah, I messed with it a little bit. I remember it had a very cool character creator in it. I remember that about it. The gameplay itself was kind of like it's kind of Dark Souls-ish, but not really. I don't even really know how to explain it, but it was fine what I played anyway. I didn't completely hate it. I fell off of it really quick. I do remember that, but I played worse games in the world, so why not? And people liked the first one enough to get a sequel, so fuck it.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, here's this one. I had to like bring up the trailer because I didn't remember the name of the game, but this one actually did look really cool. The next thing was End of Abyss, which is an overhead horror game that initially reminded me of Metal Gear Solid 1.
Yeah.
And then as they showed more horror stuff, I was like, oh, this is actually more like Signalis, which also good company to be in. Yeah. Another game where you're out, but like I'm like, oh, this might be.
It looked neat though. Yeah, there's a ton of these in here where I'm like, I'm not gonna play that, but that looks neat. Which was overall like my big thing with this, and why I'm kind of down on it is I was like, ultimately at the end of the day, there's just a lot of stuff where I looked at the trailer, I'm like, that's really neat, but I'm never gonna play that. It's not my thing. Yeah, and that's where I go. It's kind of a bummer, but yeah. That was one that looked neat.
The bathroom break came surprisingly early in the show. With wait, hold on. Did I miss? Let's see. I thought Kojima came out. Kojima came out like really early. I thought he was. Actually
It was pretty. It was right around. It might have even been before this. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. He was like the second person to come out.
Yeah, they got that out of the way real quick, and it was just a real quick Death Stranding thing that I was like, okay, I'm left more confused than ever before, but here we are.
Yeah, and I'm at the point where I don't need to see anything more.
I mean,
the only thing I was kind of hoping that he might show something from OD, because like now the Death Stranding 2 is wrapped up. Yeah, that's the next big thing. I got
a feeling that might be the Xbox thing, though. Like
you're right, because it is exclusive to Xbox, and he's in town, so
right. Yes.
That would make sense, unless the Xbox thing is also like the State of Play where it was all pre-recorded.
Hard to say. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I'm guessing it is probably pre-recorded again, but like, yeah, I got a feeling something will be if you see that game, it's probably going to be there. I wouldn't be surprised actually if you see something from that, but hard to say.
I think it's time.
Yeah.
I would like to see that because he did say that SIGINT, their PlayStation exclusive stealth game, was not going to go into like full production until Death Stranding 2 releases.
Yeah.
But he didn't. But I think they are a 2-game studio now. So OD has probably been in development. So there's probably more there to see.
Right.
They announced a like an RTS based on Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah, that's the thing.
And it was all cinematic, and it's using like the likenesses of the actors. And
Yeah.
at first, I was like, man, I don't know why you would want to touch like the look of the TV show after like so many people left unsatisfied from it. I know that House of the Dragon is doing decent,
Yeah.
but definitely not as big
No,
a juggernaut as the original show was. But then I was thinking, but you know what? If Game of Thrones, the TV show, had come out 20 years ago, we would have had 3 to 4 games on the PS2 that were based on the show that were pretty well received. And like these days, people would be like, man, I really wish that they would bring back those old Game of Thrones games.
Yeah.
And Game of Thrones didn't get that.
Yeah.
So on the one hand, I kind of get it. But on the other hand, it's like, but maybe like just interpret the book yourself.
Yeah. Weird franchise to go in on, especially. Yeah. That ending left such a sour taste in people's mouths. I've never gotten that far, but I kind of got the gist of what happens, and I was like, oh, interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And people were not happy, and yeah, it seemed to like get really sour overnight almost, you know. Yeah, weird thing to try to touch nowadays, but here we are. We're touching it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of touching it, developer Mundfish is touching a lot.
They sure are, Julian.
So they showed off a trailer, and I think they say pretty early on that it's Atomic Heart 2. It's a pretty long trailer, and it's funny. It looks really cool, and I remember thinking that Atomic Heart 1 looked really cool, but I remember you like being like, yeah, but like the character feels like he comes from like the 90s.
He's so weirdly written. It's one of those things you have to like actually go look at and hear, because it's all over the map. It's so wild.
But this trailer makes me think that they've honed in on what they want the tone to be, and maybe now it's a little bit more consistent. Because like it's got like Having a Good Time by by Queen.
Yeah.
As a theme song, and like it's showing like a bunch of crazy shit, like funny shit, and like really over the top shit, and it's like horny on main. And I know that Atomic Heart was pretty horny as well,
for sure.
And I'm fine with that. Like honestly, it's a little bit refreshing because so many games are like afraid to be horny these days.
Yeah.
And it seems to know like what it's about this time. So I'm more interested in it. But again, I think it runs into the same problem with Atomic Heart 1, which is like not really a good time to have a game where it's like, yo, what if Russia was like this amazing superpower that won the Cold War and you know, everything is Russian coded. I don't know. It's a weird look, because also like I think the first game ended up really appealing to like the worst type of people. I
believe you're correct. Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, but I almost kind of want to avoid it because I don't want to get lumped in with that crowd.
Hard to I haven't heard anything about Atomic Heart in a while, so I don't know. But they also announced like an MMO based in that universe too.
Yeah, it was weird because Jeff was like, they're not done. They've got another game, and they showed the trailer, and I was like, this looks cool, but it also looks almost identical to like the last thing that I saw. But then I was like, oh, it's in the same universe.
Yeah. But it's
called
MMO.
The
Cube.
Atomic Universe.
Why not?
And it looked really cool, but then Jeff was like, yeah, it's an MMO RPG set in the world of Atomic Heart. And I'm like, but why?
I think it was around this time where I was like, do I need to watch this anymore? Because if this is what we're doing, I just don't care. And I was like, no, I gotta watch it. I don't know if it was before this or after this. There was one game that I remember, and it's, again, one of those things that I wouldn't play, but it was a first-person shooter, and it looked like Cuphead.
Oh yeah, I skipped over it because they've shown it so many times.
Oh, have they showed that before? I don't remember seeing
that
it.
That thing's been shown a lot.
Okay, I
Mouse
believe you.
PI.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It was like I think it had been in development for a while, and then once the Steamboat Willie copyright ended, like they fast tracked it.
Okay, gotcha. All right,
Yeah.
that makes sense. That guy, I guess I just wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, it's I mean it's a first person shooter, right? It's not.
Yeah,
it's not your
exactly.
thing.
I was like, I'm not gonna really play this, but like it had a neat look to it.
Yeah. But I do feel that like right after the Atomic Heart stuff, like it was like a trio of stuff that you'd be into, or I was into.
Okay.
So they showed more of the Marvel Cosmic Invasion, that beat 'em up, which is looking slick.
Yeah. That sounds neat. Yeah.
Yeah. They showed Rocket Raccoon and She-Hulk, which She-Hulk was an interesting pick.
Yeah.
And I was like digging what they did with her.
Mhm.
But then they showed like some really hot looking gameplay of Onimusha.
Oh right.
Just looking
Yeah.
really, really nice,
Yeah.
man. And that apparently is going to be playable at Gamescom this year. So
Cool.
that's very exciting.
Yeah.
Because it is next year, but even so, like I was curious about when people would like get hands on and stuff like that. Because I'm really curious to see, because I still couldn't tell from this gameplay. I'm like, it seems like it's still going for like the faster Onimusha combat, but I kind of expected them to go more Soulsy with it.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if they're going to kind of split the difference or how that's going to work.
Yeah.
They also, so this was an English trailer,
Okay.
but also, and I read a book about Miyamoto Musashi, and the guy that he's facing off with, that he's dueling with in this trailer, is the guy that was like his main rival, like in real life.
Cool.
So
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, oh, that's really cool that they confirmed that.
Yeah.
that- I mean, I don't know how you could do Miyamoto Musashi without having that guy in there.
I think that's what the manga Vagabond is about. Is those two?
I believe it. Yeah.
I could be wrong. I know it's about Musashi, but I'm not sure who the other person is. But yeah.
Yeah. And then the next thing, I'm so into it, Justin.
Okay, what is it?
Do you remember the game that's built in Unreal Engine 5 that looks like Muppets?
I think so.
And it's like Punch Out, and it's called Felt That Boxing.
Oh, that's good.
Like
that's
felt?
fun. I might have kind of like mentally tuned out a little bit during this time, and I would kind of come and go, so I might not have been paying attention the way I
think
should
this
have.
looks awesome.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's got like this really like super serious story. It's like you're an orphan who couldn't be adopted by anyone, and then you decide to become a boxer. And it's got like this really good spoof of like Mickey from the Rocky movies as your coach.
Okay.
But he has you doing like these really like degrading mini games like to train. But then like the main gameplay, like when you're boxing, is straight up Punch Out.
Yeah. Okay.
And it looks cool.
Cool.
It looks really cool.
Yeah. That sounds cool.
I'm into it.
Yeah.
The next thing, this is a game that I will probably never play.
Okay.
But I think it's really cool. And when I was looking at it, I think this could be one of those things that hits in a really big way.
Sure.
Which is Killer Inn.
Okay.
Which is it seems like it's 3D third person Among Us.
Okay.
Where it's the wolves versus the lambs. And so the lambs have to figure out all of the wolves and identify them to win. The wolves have to kill all the lambs to win. But there's like puzzles to solve in this mansion that you're in. It's like a very Clue style mansion.
Okay.
And like when someone's murdered, they leave behind clues so you can try to like piece together like who might have done it. But also you might just roll up on someone committing a murder.
Yeah.
Like you would in Among Us.
Yeah.
It's got a look to it also. I don't know. Again, no interest in me playing it, but I feel that this could hit in a pretty big way.
Yeah, it could. It absolutely could.
Yeah, it's got a good vibe to it. It's got a good style to it. There were a lot of games at this particular show where I was like, I don't give a shit about that, but I'm interested in seeing HoloLive play it.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. Absolutely.
Yeah. And also it's from Square Enix of all people?
It's weird. That's weird.
Yeah.
Why is that? Well, I guess if it's a smaller thing that they can kind of throw money at, and it's like you said, hey, this thing might take off because it's kind of like Among Us, but a little bit different.
Yeah.
Maybe, why not? You know,
I have a feeling it's left over from before they
Could
made
absolute-
their big, like,
could
yo,
absolute-
we're going to
yeah.
refocus.
Absolutely, probably was. And
Yeah.
if it hits for them, then they're like, oh, cool. No, we totally meant to do that. We
Yeah,
believed in
I could
this
see
the whole
this being
time.
their Helldivers too, where
Right?
they're like,
yeah,
oh, well, this did really well. We
No.
don't know what to do with it now because we weren't planning on supporting
we
it.
were
But
not. We were. This thing was dead to us, but
Yeah.
we put it out anyway. Yeah, here you go.
yeah, this was weird to me, and the only reason I'm bringing it up is because the game is like coming out this year,
Okay.
and so I remember when Arc Raiders was announced, and all they really had was a logo, and then I don't recall seeing anything else from that game
Yeah.
for years. And then this year earlier they had like a beta test or something that people seemed pretty high on,
Mm.
but all they had was a cinematic trailer with the release date, and I'm like, I still haven't seen what this game looks like in action, and it's really weird that you still haven't shown it in action, like in trailer form.
No, just imagine what it's like, and
I guess I have to.
it's
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That. See, yeah, they showed Dune. I don't give a shit.
But somebody will. I don't know.
Somebody will.
Somebody will care. I've never really been into that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
They showed a really cool looking action game, which I thought was something that we hadn't seen before, but we actually had, just not actual gameplay.
Yeah.
It was Chrono Odyssey, which I think was announced last year.
Oh, that sounds neat.
I'm going through like a live blog from Games Radar,
Okay.
and the blogger actually said that they thought it was Tides of Annihilation also. That's
Okay.
kind of what I was thinking it was
Got
for
ya.
a split second.
Got you.
I don't think it looks as good as Tides of
Yeah.
Annihilation, but I still think it looks pretty cool.
I don't. The one thing I remember around this time, and I don't know where exactly it is on the list here. I forget the name of it. It was a horror game. But it was like they described it as Doki Doki Literature Club meets Silent Hill.
Oh yeah, we'll get there.
Okay, that one seemed pretty fucking cool.
Yes.
That one seemed pretty cool.
There was a game that's it's made with like stop motion graphics, a la Harold Halibut, called
Yes.
Out of Words. It's a
Yeah.
co-op 2-player game that looks like, someone played It Takes Two and was like, yo,
What if we did that with this style? Yeah.
yeah.
But-
Which again, it's like a game where for me a lot of the Josef Fares stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, just rub it in my face that I don't have friends to play with.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But
And-
it's
It looks cool though.
it looks neat. It looks kind of like inside-ish or whatever, like that whole
Mhm.
genre type thing, but co-op.
Remind
like,
me of Untangled or
Yeah, sure.
or no or Unravel.
Unravel.
that-
I know I think I know which one you mean though. Yeah.
Then they had like a really nice looking trailer for Mafia: The Old Country, which
Yeah.
I'm getting more and more excited for that game because it's not open world. It's actually set up more like Tomb Raider 2013, and I'm kind of here for that.
Interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
That could be cool.
Like kind of more of a focus on like stealth and action, obviously with like a pretty deep story to it,
Yeah.
but like not you really like tooling around in this huge area or anything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
a much more focused experience.
that could be cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never played a Mafia game, but I think this
I
might be my
own
first.
all of them because I bought them in a collection for like, I don't know, $5 or whatever it was. On Steam, and I still have not played any of them. I was like, yeah, why not? I'll own those.
Yeah.
Why not?
I'm gonna skip through a bunch of this stuff because
Yeah.
neither of us really have anything. Like, I know we're not gonna care because the next thing is, let's see. Oh, did they get it? Fractured Blooms.
Yes, I
Which,
couldn't
yeah.
remember the name of it, but yeah.
And Jeff Keighley said that the pitch in the email to him was Doki Doki Literature Club meets Silent Hill,
Yeah.
but also with like a weird like cozy game element to it,
Yeah.
where you're like tending to crops.
This has kind of been sort of a pitch I've had for a long time. I think this one's a little bit more
You
obvious
have.
than what I would have done with it, right? But like as soon as I seen it, it was like finally people are listening to me. But but like this is a little bit more obvious than what I would have personally pitched, but at the same time, like it's still the same idea, sort of. Really, this is one I'm like, I'm not gonna play myself, but I really want to watch a playthrough of this. Immediately the vibe was just like so good. Like they're just reading some kind of poem or letter or something, and I'm just like the entire time I'm like, this is fucking awesome. Like I love this. Going down dark hallways in first person though is not my forte, so let that be whatever it is.
Yes.
Really cool looking game though. Really cool looking game. Want to see it.
Only announced for Steam, but I could see myself playing that on my Steam Deck.
Absolutely.
Even though I'd probably rather play it on a PlayStation. But it seemed, I think, a lot of the games, to their credit, Jeff was highlighting like a lot of small games.
This is the one thing I like about Summer Games Fest, because occasionally you do find something where you're like, that seems interesting. Okay, yeah, let's like this is a prime example of that. I was
absolutely,
this is probably one of those things I'd have never heard of otherwise. So
yeah, so hopefully it does well enough that they're able to port it to consoles.
Yeah, but
I might just end up playing it on, like I said, on my Steam Deck. It's just with a horror game, I like to really immerse myself with like the headphones and everything.
It seems like it would really benefit from that too. Yeah,
for sure. We're just going to blow through a bunch of this like anime gotcha stuff.
Yeah, a lot of that.
They announced Jurassic World Evolution 3. Yeah. That seemed like a Justin thing.
Yeah, I don't care about Jurassic Park though. That's the thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, really? Okay.
I'm not a big Jurassic Park guy, man. Just not. They're fine.
Do you like dinosaurs?
They're okay.
Wow.
Yeah, they're okay. I'm not losing my mind for them like a lot of people are. I know. Everybody's mad at me. That's fine. I can live with it.
No, it's just, I think I've said for years now that I really want to see like dinosaurs with like the graphics that we have now.
Oh, yeah.
There's Ark, but like Ark is like pretty old at this point.
Yeah.
And like, I want to see like what, like what if we got like a Horizon game, but it was actual dinosaurs?
Yeah. What if there was a crisis of dinosaurs, Julian? What if there was that?
Dude.
Yeah.
I just got tinglies when you said that.
Yeah. What if there was one of those? That would be insane,
Oh, wait. I was thinking of like Crisis, like CRY.
Oh, that would be cool. Yeah. No, hey, that'd be fine too.
Yeah.
There's a million different ways you could do that. I think there's definitely a market for it, and I'm surprised nobody's really gone in on it, to be honest with you.
There is that new Turok game that got announced.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Maybe that'll scratch that itch for me.
Yeah, hard to say. But yeah, it is kind of surprising that there aren't more. I don't know. Like building my own Jurassic Park doesn't really appeal to me that much. Like I don't know why.
Okay.
Like, yeah. It's just not really my thing.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yeah.
They showed a new VR game for Deadpool with Neil Patrick Harris playing Deadpool.
They did show that.
It looked really, really hot, but it's exclusive to the MetaQuest. So
yeah, well,
but I actually thought it was hitting all the right notes that
there
it
you
needed
go.
to.
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did enjoy that they kind of teased that they were going to make a Silk Song announcement during it, and then back down from it. Like I was like, good bit, honestly, good bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
They showed more of Mixtape, which is a game that I've been very excited about.
That one looks cool. Yeah, that one looked cool when seen it forever ago. So yeah.
Yeah, seeing more of it looked even better. But they made a big focus on the soundtrack, like who was on the soundtrack, and dude. They had Stan Bush on there, Justin.
Why wouldn't you?
And I am calling it now. There is going to be a needle drop in this game, and the touch is going to play, and I'm going to bawl my fucking eyes out. You heard it. You heard it here first.
Why not?
If that doesn't happen, I will be very surprised.
Yeah.
It's got really strong Lost Records vibes, but it's more stylized and a lot more humor to it.
Yeah.
I like the part where like a couple of the characters come down the stairs and like, Mom, who is it? And she like turns back. She's like, it's the pigs, dear.
Yeah.
Like, okay. She's raising them right.
That's good. That's good.
And that is it just said coming soon. Okay. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
coming this year or not.
It's impossible to know, honestly.
Yeah. They showed Toa and the Guardians of the Sacred Tree also out in September, which is a Hades-like.
Okay.
And the main reason I brought it up is because like they showed like an animated cutscene at the beginning that I thought looked kind of shitty, but then the game itself looked pretty
Is
good.
that the one that's done by the Guacamelee people?
No,
Okay,
that was something else.
that was something else.
something that I kind of glazed over.
I
Like, my
did
eyes
too.
glazed over.
I just was curious because I watched like half of. Oh, again, I was in and out a lot of the time because I was like, "Am I interested in this? Not really." Like I would look
Yeah.
up for a little bit, and I'm like, "Okay, yeah." That. So I was just wondering.
I mainly brought this one up because they had a lot of like anthropomorphized like animal characters in here, and there's like a really brawny fish man, and I was like, "There's going to be a lot of people horny for this fucking fish man."
People like
I
a fish
can
man.
feel it.
You know what are you gonna do?
Now the next thing is something that I think you are going to be super into, and I am too. It's from like a solo dev called Axe of Blood.
Axe of Blood. Yeah, I missed this one.
It looked like Sifu, but with like some parkour shit and some shooting.
Wait. Okay, I think I know which axe. Not axe.
Yes.
Not with it. Not
Right.
not a axe chopped down tree. Okay. Axe. Like as I'm
Yes.
going to act in a thing.
Like the book in the Bible, Justin.
Okay.
Go with Christ.
I think it was too Sifu. It was a little too much Sifu. I actually thought it looked like diet Sifu, and I really wasn't very into it at all. My biggest.
I thought if you see food, you would eat it.
No. I mean, they're doing the old boy hallway thing, and I'm like, Sifu already did this. Like, they kept going back to the old boy hallway thing, and I was like, okay, I get you put that in there, but they beat you to the punch, and they did it really well. I don't know what you're going for. A lot of the animations to me looked a little janky. I know. I when they said it was a solo dev, I was like, okay, all right, a lot of that makes sense now. I get it. Yeah, there's the thing I did think was cool was the gunplay in it. It kind of almost reminds me of Dead to Rights a little bit more than like Sifu, you know what I mean? Because Dead to Rights had a lot of that stuff where it's just like, and now you have a gun and you're shooting.
Right.
But I'm not sure. I would have to wait and see on that one if it was any good. What I seen
I
there.
will say this. It to me it looked like a game that would probably come out for about $30-$40.
Yeah, that might be too much, I think. I don't know if I'd pay that much for that. Unless I heard remarkable things about it. Like
Sure.
Yeah, if it was that much, I think that's a little too much. If it was like 20, well, I'll fuck with that. But 40 I think is too much for that. That's just me.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
I haven't played much of Sifu. I actually just played like I never talked about it on the show, but I played like basically the tutorial.
I think you were telling me about it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I liked what I played. I just never, got back to it. But I might give this a whirl. We'll see.
Yeah.
I really liked what it did, but again, I didn't play Sifu, so I didn't have that comparison point.
Yeah, it looked a little less tight in the gameplay wise, but then again, I'm not touching it with a controller, so it might be amazing to play. So I'm gonna be a little hesitant on my judgment, but just looking at what they were showing me, I wasn't super in.
Sure.
Yeah.
The developer who's making that Marvel Cosmic Invasion and also made Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge is also making a new Scott Pilgrim beat 'em up.
Oh yeah. Yeah, why not?
It looked a lot like the old Scott Pilgrim game.
It sure did.
This was crazy to me.
Okay.
Mind's Eye is coming out next fucking week.
Yeah, it is.
And they had a cinematic trailer.
Yeah.
I'm interested in this game, but I need to see some shit about it.
Okay, you can, if you look hard enough on YouTube, you can find it. There was a French guy that just was playing it, and it's on there.
Oh.
Not sure that game looks very good to me, but that's me. Yeah.
No, I'm curious.
It's
one I'm waiting for reviews for.
The vibes of it are there's been a lot of people talking about that game as of late because yes, it is coming out next week and they didn't give out review copies.
That's not a good sign.
Their CFO recently quit the company.
Oh, that's a real bad sign.
Yeah, like it has all the warning flags I've ever seen for a video game about to drop, and I'm just like, oh boy. And when I'm watching it, I'm like, there's something weird about this game just looking at it. I don't know what it is, but there's something off. It looks kind of like a little generic in a lot of spots too, and I'm just like, oh man, like I don't know.
It's also interesting that it was announced just a couple months ago.
Yeah,
and it's already coming out.
Yeah.
And because I thought it was like, I knew it was coming out this summer. I thought it was like July, and
Yeah.
then when they were like, "Oh, it's June 10th," and I'm like, "That's fucking next week."
That's next week.
Like,
yeah,
how have I not seen more of this game
yeah,
yet?
yeah. But yeah, I watched a little bit of gameplay of it, and I was like, oh, I don't know about that one.
In the absence of GTA 6 this year, it might scratch an itch that, because like I've only got really room in my schedule in a year for like one, maybe two open world games.
Sure.
And I might be in the mood for one.
In its defense, and to maybe sell it to you, it might be one of those games that everyone hates and you end up enjoying. It's apparently about 15 hours, so pretty decently short. Apparently, that's what I've heard. And like that I could see you getting into that. I don't know how the game exactly does. I think its big selling point is like you have a drone and the drone does stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I want to see how weird it gets, because I was like, do you have weird like powers because of the chip in your head? Like that's what I want.
I don't know. I got no idea. Like it seemed it was really weird because like it's all cinematic stuff in the opening, and then you just you're just kind of immediately thrown into like whatever the hell is going on, and they're like shooting these big ass robots. I don't know.
I like shooting big ass robots.
You do like shooting big ass robots too, Julian. I've always known that about you. So, well, they were. I don't know. They're not big. They're not big, real big. They're they're big robots. They'll fill a room.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll it's one I've got my eye on.
Yeah.
Like 100 Line revealed itself to me last week.
Yeah.
Or over the weekend, and
Yeah.
now I am obsessed.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And I can't stop playing it now that I know what's going on.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
It's man, that game's something. So like really the only reason that I haven't played it as much as I would like to is I'm beholden to the the battery life of my Steam Deck. So
That's fair. That's super fair. Yeah.
yeah, but that's kind of my focus right now. I would like to finish something else besides that before Death Stranding 2 comes out, because that's all hands on deck
Yeah.
when that's out. Because not only have I been waiting for it, but it's also a thing where it's like I don't want to get spoiled on that game.
That's fair.
So
Yeah, I get it. 100%.
there is like a crossover with Hitman with Mind's Eye, because that is one thing.
Yeah,
that I want to
that's
mention
what-
is that IO
yes.
is publishing
Right.
Mind's Eye, which I thought is interesting.
That's
It's another one. It's like
Very
that's
interesting.
cool that like they're big enough now that they can do that in
Yeah.
addition to what they're doing.
Very interesting for sure.
And so like the CEO of IOI came out to talk about that crossover, but then also he talked a little bit about 007 First Light. And then they also
Yeah.
announced that Le Chiffre from Casino Royale
Yeah.
is in Hitman for a month,
Yeah.
beginning the night that we record this.
That's fun.
And they brought Mads Mikkelsen out to talk about it a little bit, which I thought it was probably just like, oh, he can meet up with his friend Hideo, because
I see. Yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like, well, they'll be in the building. That's fun. Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure we'll see all sorts of pictures on
Oh,
social
yeah.
media from Kojima. But no, I think that's really cool.
Yeah,
and
I do too.
Again, I really can't wait for more gameplay of that 007. Like again, I don't have a huge like. I like James Bond just fine.
Yeah.
For me, it's really is the pedigree of the studio.
Right.
I'm really excited to see what they do with that IP. And apparently, I forgot to say this when we talked about it earlier.
Sure.
Because of I was talking about the young James Bond thing. They did say in an interview after the name reveal that their plan is a trilogy, and what they want the character to kind of grow up with the players
Sure.
as the games are
Why
coming
not?
out.
Yeah, that'd be good.
And apparently, even though it's like the first time that they've done a game that isn't their IP,
Right.
it's something that they've been wanting to do since the beginning.
I could see
So
it.
it's like a lot of like passionate people that have had like a lot of ideas for a very long time for this game.
I hope so. Yeah, there hasn't been a good James Bond game in quite some time. So
Yeah. And then there was another game being published by Mundfish, and I'm like, where the fuck did Mundfish come from? These are the people who did
Tom
the
McCart must have done good enough for them to do some shit, I guess. Yeah.
I guess so.
Yeah.
But so this isn't developed by them, but they are publishing it. And this I thought was one of the highlights of the show.
Mm.
It's a first-person horror game called Ill.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this one looks wild. Yeah.
Yeah. Every time that I thought I had a handle on what was going on, they would show something else more fucked up than what I had seen before.
Yeah. Yeah, that game is interesting. Like that is one of those games that, again, where I'm like, I'm not gonna play that, but I really want to watch somebody play that. Like that shit looks fucking pretty cool. Like the dismemberment stuff and all that shit looked pretty brutal.
There is this part where it's ostensibly zombies or zombie type enemies.
Yeah, yeah.
And one of them picks up like a melee weapon from a table.
Yeah.
And the character uses a shotgun to shoot their arm off. And I was like, that's cool.
Oh yeah. It
had like some Resident Evil 4 style, like, shoot the legs out from under them to stagger them. At one point, this ginormous zombie head comes slithering down a hallway, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck this game is.
I have
but
no
I'm
idea what it is either. I'm fascinated by it. It looks very interesting. It was one of the most interesting things they showed in the entire show. I have to say that.
Yeah. And the trailer ends with the main character kicking a zombie baby, and I'm like, I'm in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've been wanting to kick the baby since 1998 because Ike said don't kick the baby, and I was like, no, kick the baby.
Okay. I'm the baby, gotta love me.
Also that.
Yeah.
Let's see. They showed in Infinitesimals, which is a game that I had seen last year at the Unreal presentation because it's another small dev team that they were talking last year about how easy it was for them to pull everything from Unreal 4 into 5 and like how much it had saved them in time and resources on developing the game. It's cool. You're playing like these insectoid people that are fighting like some sort of machine invasion, but they're tiny machines because you're also bugs. So it's got that maybe.
Okay.
It might be.
All
yeah.
right.
Call John Machida and see what he's doing.
All right. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It kind of had that grounded vibe from Xbox that came out a couple years ago.
Okay.
Just in the sense of scale.
Yeah. I got you.
But that could be kind of cool. Then I thought this was pretty cute. They had the voice actress who played Lady Dimitrescu in a really cool, fancy horror type setting with a glass of red wine.
Yeah.
Talking in Lady Dimitrescu style.
Yeah.
And then she said, here's a word from,
I think that's
produced.
Isn't that the voice actress for her?
It is a voice actress for her.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And also, funnily enough, she's super tall herself, which I thought was very interesting.
She I think she did the
Did she do the mocap for it?
I think so.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I can't remember now.
But they cut to I guess the lead on Resident Evil, Jun Takeuchi, who basically just said, hey, thank you for following Resident Evil all this time. The 30th anniversary is next year.
Yeah.
And I know you've all been excited for the next game, but we need more time. So
I need to state something that I watched happen in real time while I was watching this. I was a little bit behind on it, but I still watched it. So immediately when this happened, people got on Reddit and were because somebody leaked the thing that happens at the end, right? They said something to the long lines of, this is going to be announced here. And immediately people were fucking pissed because they seen this and assumed that's it for Resident Evil. That's all we're going to get. I was like,
people need to, people need to chill.
They
Justin, do you
really
have the button? People need to chill.
Oh yeah. Hold on. Oh, I don't have it on. I'm sorry. I don't have it on.
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
That would have been a nice callback to season 1.
Yeah,
but it's okay.
sorry. I don't know.
But people do need to chill. Like when that happened, I was like, oh, that's kind of a bummer. But they'll probably do something big next year. That's fine. Justin's trying. He's trying
I don't know
hard.
why it won't play. That's weird.
It's okay.
I must
it's
have
not
it
meant to
turned
be.
down. I'll have to mess with that another time, Julian. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Why do I even have this on at this point? I'm just going to turn it off now. I'm really bummed. You've let me down, drum pad. Turning you off for now. Well, that's all there is to that.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, no, I'm disappointed too. Yeah. We could have hit the 311 button and had a real moment there, Julian, but
We could have. Yeah.
ruined.
What did you think of the announcement of the season 3 characters for Street Fighter 6, Justin?
I liked that Kenny Omega was there. He's my favorite wrestler. Is
He? Okay.
Yeah, he is. He is my favorite wrestler, 100%. Really
Okay.
like him. He has some of my favorite matches of all time, if not my favorite ones of all time. He genuinely loves video games and Street Fighter, and he was doing his thing.
He sure did his thing. I was impressed with the commitment.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He loves that shit. And the only thing that I got bummed out on was at a certain point, I thought they were going to do some sort of weird reveal toward the very end where they just went.
Did you think he was going to be in Street Fighter also?
Yeah. I
did too.
I was like,
I did too.
I was like, oh, if Kenny Omega's in there, that's going to be fucking awesome.
That would be way fucking cooler than the lame ass shit they did with City of the Wolves.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so we're getting Alex from Street Fighter 3. We're getting Crimson Viper from Street Fighter 4.
Yep.
Ingrid, which I know is a very controversial character, but I've never played her, so
I'll be honest, I don't remember them at all. Yeah.
I think she's from like the PSP version of Street Fighter Alpha 3, and she's in like maybe 1 or 2 other games. I know people hate her with a white hot passion. I don't know why.
Why not?
And then Sagat.
And
good lineup. I didn't pick up season 2. I really haven't touched the game like since it came out. Really what that game needs, and I'm surprised they didn't do it. I'm waiting for them to do like, we added like a whole new island to World Tour mode, and it's got like brand new missions, brand new story, all sorts of new hidden shit.
I think the sad part about that is like, I loved World Tour mode. I thought it was a lot of fun. I think there's a lot of things you could do with something like that, but I have a feeling that the fucking fighting game people don't give a shit about stuff like that, and they're just like,
they don't.
Yeah, and that makes me sad because it
makes me sad too, because also like a lot of the characters that have been introduced since the game came out have been way too technical for me.
Yeah.
So Street Fighter 6 went from a very easy to pick up and play game to Street Fighter 3 levels of complexity for me, where I'm like, oh, this is out of my depth now.
Yeah. That's welcome to the DLC stuff. That's usually when they bring it in. It's like, if you're still here, you want crazy shit. Here it is. Yeah, pretty much. Which, I haven't gone back to it since it came out either. So you're not alone.
Yeah, because I wanted to check out like Terry and Mai, because that's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
And I downloaded, because I had the first season characters, so I did download Aki, and she was like way too much for me. And I tried Rashid, and I was like, nope, that's also way too crazy. And then I didn't even bother with like the rest of the characters from that season that I bought. We got to see more of Wu Chang Fallen Feathers, which we'd seen before.
Yeah.
I think it looks solid. I probably won't end up playing it. The one I'm looking forward to is that Phantom Blade Zero, which has kind of dropped off the radar. I thought that was coming this year.
I remember that name, but I can't remember what the hell that looks like.
That was the one where the first time they showed it, it looked like an actual like Chinese martial arts movie, and I was like, "There's no way that's legit." And then they had gameplay where it's like, "No, that's actually legit."
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Phantom Blade. Yeah, I forgot about that game. Yeah. Wasn't that the one that was like based on like a franchise already, and everybody's like, "What the fuck is this?"
I'm not sure about that. Like, if it is, I don't recall hearing that.
No, it was like a really. It came out on the PlayStation thing, right?
I don't remember where it initially was shown.
Okay. Hold on. I'm gonna look.
It was either that or it was Game Awards. Like,
yeah, it
2
might have
years
been
ago.
that. Please.
They had a Year of the Snake trailer for it at the beginning of the
Yeah, this
year
is the
where I
one.
was like, that looks like a goddamn movie.
Yeah,
but they're
this
actually
is the
playing
one.
that game.
Yes. This is the one. Yeah, and I remember you and I both were kind of like, I don't know if this is real or not, but it looks kind of neat. Yeah, no, we haven't seen anything of that game in a while. It's based on some really fucking like no-name franchise, but somehow they got like funding for it or something like that. I can't remember. You'd have to look it up. It's wild. Yeah, that game
I
looks...
always wonder the reasoning behind that. If it's not a well-known franchise, like why
I can't
bother?
remember what the hell it's based on. Now I'm gonna see if I can find anything. But anyway, continue on whatever you're going into.
This next thing, it was very brief, but I thought you might be excited.
Okay.
Wu-Tang Rise of the Deceiver.
Yeah. Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
I am into that. That sounds pretty dope.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I don't know what they only showed like a little bit of the gameplay of it, but like I don't know, it's Wu-Tang. I'll fuck with it, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's kind of a big deal, though, isn't it? Like, they have not done anything as a unit in a very long time. Am I?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Not that I can think of. I'd have to. I'm trying to look up what the hell this is fucking franchise it is, but you know what? You can all do that on your own time. Wu-Tang. It might have been that one game, not Wu-Tang Clan game. I don't need that. Wu-Tang Clan, I don't know, albums. When was the last time they did an album together?
Oh, wait, didn't they do that album that asshole Martin Shkreli bought?
Yes, it was, Once Upon a Time in Shaolin. It was like they also apparently did something called Brotherhood of the Wolf. But yeah, so Wu-Tang Clan. But then seems like it was a compilation. I don't know. They do stuff together sometimes. They're kind of weird. And then they okay, Wu-Tang is weird where they'll do solo albums, but like all the fucking Wu-Tang Clan is on it. So it's like, is this a solo album? I don't know. It's like, this is a Ghostface Killer album, but everybody's on it. Okay, so cool. Whatever.
Initially, when they started announcing the people, I was like, yo, is this Def Jam 3? Or 4, I guess. It would be Def Jam 4.
They were in those games too. Yeah. Game-wise, that was like their last appearance type stuff, but that I remember anyway.
Because I would surprisingly pop off if a new Def Jam fighting game or wrestling game was announced.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be real fun. That would be great.
A lot of stuff worth skipping until the next to last game, which was the next thing from RGG Studios, which was more of Project Century, but now we got more gameplay and we got a title reveal, which is Stranger Than Heaven.
Yeah.
Set in 1943, and definitely not a Like a Dragon game.
No.
I just assumed when they first showed Project Century that it was going to be Like a Dragon, where you get maybe the story of one of the early Tojo clan members or something like that. But there's some weird shit going on in this trailer, my dude.
Yeah, it's possible. I don't know. It's tough to say. Like, it could still be in that universe because it seems very crime focused still.
Well, so there was a part where I need to go back and look at the trailer again, but I swear that he was fighting a dude that was like 10 feet tall in one spot. And then the trailer ends with like it's English trailer, and there's an American who asks the main character's name, and he's like, "Oh, so you're a Jap, huh?" And he says, "Well, yeah, can't you tell?" But then the American says, like, "Well, then what are you?" And then he says and I don't think it was Japanese. Like I was like, "Oh, he's a secret Korean," but he says, "That's what I'd like to know." And his eyes are glowing blue.
Oh,
so like there's some weird shit going on in this game.
There might be some weird shit going on. Yeah, why not?
Yeah. And they also showed a part where he did, like, it was very brief, but like it looked like a detective vision type thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is not like, if it is in that world, they're going off into a weird splinter part of it.
I just like some of the little things that I was seeing it do, which was like where it looked like he was walking into this alleyway to get in a fight, and there was all these people there, and they were like clearing out and like
Mhm.
bumping into him on the way out, and so these two could have a fight. I was like, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I'm
I liked the cinematics of it. Like it starts with this
the
singer like in a club.
yeah. The soundtrack
Yeah.
sounds really cool. And then he goes into like some empty stairway and lights a cigarette up, and like the lighting and all that stuff. It was cool. Like I really walks out onto the balcony of the city and all that shit. Yeah, it looks neat. I'm really into it.
It looks very neat.
Yeah, this was the one thing I was like, all right, I'm glad I stuck around because that was cool.
Yes, and they didn't have a year for it yet, but I'd be surprised if that wasn't next year because it's pretty rare for them to skip a year without releasing a game.
Yeah, the only way I could see it being a little bit further out though, because like this looks like pretty advanced compared to what like the other stuff they have is. You know what I mean? Like
Yes. Like, for lack of a better term, it seems like next generation for the RGG.
You know what I
engine.
mean? Yeah, that.
Yeah.
I couldn't help but think that. Like when I was watching, I was like, this looks like they've got some new tech and are fucking with it. So that's cool. Like, and I'm sure this will. They probably will. It always seems like they want to try to stay away from their main franchise when they do stuff like that and just kind of roll it out. Like let's see how it goes in this game, and then we can refine it for this other thing, right? So if this thing isn't, if people aren't into this thing, that's okay. We'll take the lessons from there and put them over here.
We haven't quote unquote sullied the Like a Dragon name.
Yes, we haven't. Yeah, it remains unsullied. It's fine. Don't worry about it. You know. Yeah.
Well, what about that zombie game? Shh.
Yeah, don't worry about.
Talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there was one more thing.
Yep.
And he was like, Jeff was very excited when he talked about it, and it was a very nice looking game. And I was like, because it's set in the FBI, and then I was like, oh, is this Control? Like,
yeah,
like that was my first thought. But then as I was looking at like, there's a woman at a desk, and as I was looking at the graphics, I was like, no, this looks Japanese.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this looks Capcom.
Yeah.
It's a character, like she's like a young woman who gets called into her boss's office to work a case.
Yeah.
She has to like go back to this hotel where her mom died like 8 years prior. But then it starts showing like very weird imagery that I am very fascinated by, which is like the RPD, like the Raccoon Police Department, but it's all like completely like in ruins and like a bunch of like just post-apocalyptic type imagery.
Well, I was going to say it shows the crater from after post Resident Evil 2. That's Raccoon City. That's where it got nuked.
Oh, that's why that's like that.
Yeah, that's why that's like that. Yeah.
I completely forgot that happened in there.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes way more sense. I thought they were like flashing to like far-flung future stuff. But no, it's just, you're right, because Raccoon City was kind of like obliterated by the nuke. Okay.
Right.
That makes way more sense for me.
Right. Yeah.
But also that was confirmation that this is a new Resident Evil game. What was the name of it? Did they Resident Evil Requiem with the Q turning into a 9, like they've done for the last couple of games where they get like very cute with the naming conventions. Like they throw the number in there, but they don't actually call it Resident Evil 9.
Right. I was thinking this character was a different character. They are not that who I thought they were. So that's interesting. Okay, awesome.
That was the other thing, because when they said that her name was Ashcroft, I was like, wait, isn't that like the bad guys from Code Veronica? I want to say they were the Ashcrofts, but I could be wrong. It's been a long time.
I think you're right, but it's been a while since I remember too. Like the name sounds familiar.
I'm way rusty on Resident Evil lore. I used to be very up on that shit.
Yeah. Well, they kind of switch it around every now and then. So yeah.
Yes. And this one's got a hard release date. Capcom always has like a really big game in the first quarter, and this is no different. February 27th of next year. Right. Yeah. And also Onimusha's that same year, so Capcom fans are eating good next year. Absolutely. Yep. And that's pretty much it, I guess. They did that. And the opening night live was decidedly mid. Yeah, it was. But again, after the banger that the state of play was, I was kind of glad to see that. Like
it was fine. I think it maybe went a little long in spots for me where I was just like, okay. And like I said, there was just bits where like I was mentally just getting worn out by like a lot of the stuff that I was like just not interested in. That like sometimes like I'm glad you were paying more attention than I was, because I was like, oh yeah, some of that sounds interesting, but I just given up at some points. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they could do to smooth that. Maybe I would almost like to see them like spread it out a little bit, but I know that's probably really hard to do. I like maybe have opening night live and then second night live. I don't know. I don't know what I want anymore.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for the Xbox stuff.
Yes,
And we'll talk about that next week.
Yes.
Yeah. But I was glad that we could get at least some of this stuff out, like kind of in a timely manner. Oh, sorry, Justin. I think he's got something.
Okay, good.
Well, we're coming to the end of this year's Summer Game Awards Fest 3, but we're not done quite yet. As technology moves forward, I'm always on the search for the next grift. I mean innovation. Here to talk about an exciting new venture is Grayson Niles. I think you'll be amazed at what he has to show, and this definitely isn't foreshadowing anything sinister. Take it away, Grayson. Hello, I am Grayson Niles, CEO, CTO, and CFO of Disillusioned Gorilla LLC. For 2 years, we have been pioneers in AI technology, and I'm excited to share with you, in attendance and around the world, the first video game designed solely by AI. No human hands have touched any part of the development of this game. Not only did this save us millions in development costs, but our game was made in a scant 7 months. I give you AI Armageddon, Origin of Legends. This is a 4-player platform fighter, starring some of your favorite memes brought to life for the very first time. All the hits are here. Assassino Cappuccino, Bombardillo Crocodillo, Tung 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 Sahur, and of course, Skibbity Toilet. With our season pass, you can also play as various internet celebrities, like the Rizzler, Hawk Tua, Baby Gronk, the Liver King, and many more. Please enjoy this first gameplay trailer of AI Armageddon, Origin of Legends.
Skibbity Toilet versus Tung 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 Sahur. Skibbity.
Oh God, my eyes!
Tung.
What the fuck am I looking at?
Tung. Tung. Skibbity.
Oh shit, man!
Knockout. Tung 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 Sahur wins.
Fuck you, Grayson! Yeah, well, Justin, we're coming to the end of it.
You okay?
I kind of lost my train of thought. It's fine.
Okay.
It's been a long show. There was a lot to cover.
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
Yeah. Video games are cool, man.
Video games are fun. And we're still we'll probably get more stuff next week that we'll probably talk about again. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I admittedly hyped the Xbox One up to my friend because we're probably gonna watch that one too. And they were like, okay. I was like, usually the Xbox One's pretty good. So, and this one was
last few years it's been Xbox's game for this stuff.
That's what I've been thinking. So
fingers crossed for like some real Fable gameplay.
That'd be fun. That'd be fun. Yeah. I didn't even think about that. But yeah, I imagine this. If any year, it's got to
gotta
be the
be,
year.
right?
It's got to be this year, right?
Oh man, I don't think it's coming I don't think it's
No.
coming out this
No,
year,
no,
but there's
no.
got to be like some actual.
I think that's a next year thing, but
yeah.
it feels like it is anyway. Feels like it should be.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Oh wait, I think they actually confirmed that it got delayed to next year.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to say that was a news story earlier.
I feel like you're right. Yeah, I feel like I remember that. So we'll see.
But I'm still hoping for like some actual like deep gameplay. Like I want to see like a good like 5-minute, chunk of it.
Right. Yeah.
And it feels like it's long past time for State of Decay 3. Like they announced that when the Xbox Series was announced.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, they did.
Yeah. And there's quite a bit of other stuff as well.
Yeah, and stuff we don't know about. So
yeah, that's always the exciting.
That's
part
always
about
the fun stuff. Yeah, is the oh, I didn't know that was a thing. I would actually like to see more of Perfect Dark because that looked really cool the last time they showed it.
That looked really cool.
Yeah, I
thought that game was like dead.
Yeah, me too. And when they showed it, I was like, oh, this actually looks fucking dope. So yeah, that would be cool.
Ooh, and actually on that tick, because Crystal Dynamics is helping on Perfect Dark, it feels like it's time for them to show the next Tomb Raider.
Oh yeah. Who knows, man? Who knows?
Yeah.
Of course, this will come out after the Xbox presentation, probably, and we'll be wrong
y'all
on all
will
of
know.
this. Yeah, you'll know what happened. So
yeah, that's just the nature of the podcast.
That's how this goes. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and wrap up for us. I think Keigh is up there about to wrap up as well. So
that's good.
Justin, where can they find you?
Twitch.tv/Tyrone Swift. If I decide to stream later, I got to get my life in order. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm developing a schedule. I'll get there. Also at Tyrone Swift TV at YouTube. On YouTube, yeah. Tyrone Swift TV on YouTube. You can find old stuff that I did, and it's there, and it won't go anywhere, hopefully.
You can find me on Blue Sky. Just search Julian Titus. The show is on Twitter at Stage Select Pod. Thanks as always to the wonderful Megan McDuffie for our theme song and interstitial tracks. And thanks to friend of the show, John Golson. You didn't hear him this week, but you'll hear him every other week as our announcer.
Mm-hmm.
And our logo and artwork. And also big ups to John. He's currently in New York. As I'm editing this, his movie will be debuting for the first time, and that's very exciting.
Awesome.
And I can't wait. He's going to be on the show later this month to kind of talk about that whole thing. So
I'm
looking forward to that.
it.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess that's it for us. I guess we'll kick it over to Keigh and let him finish up what he's doing.
All right.
It's hard to believe we're already at the end of this year's event. What an amazing showcase of consumer products designed to distract you from the outside world. No, don't think about it. Just look at me. Everything is great. Capitalism is working as intended. Nothing to worry about here. Just keep playing video games and don't think about the people who made them. It's fine. Everything is fine. I've been your host, Keigh Geoffley, and we'll see you next year. Bye.